thing.
Yeah, don't worry
I'm
about
gonna
it, Shane.
come.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone.
Don't say any bad words.
We're doing something a bit different today. Um, Normally, this is the day that I do my Dork Vision stream, but today we are doing a setup session 0 for my other campaign that I'm gonna get going on Wednesdays. But since my Dork Vision game is canceled, figured I'd do session 0 live today and teach you guys and the people that are going to be playing how to use Roll20 and help them make characters, and we can talk to each other and create concepts. It's going to be a very loose thing. I have a new overlay, but I got rid of it so that y'all can just see the Roll20 overlay. Anyway,
Yep,
we're
that's it.
almost all here. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves? I am Noble Crumpet, or Chris, and I'm the DM for this session. And we can just go
Okay.
down the list, I guess.
Hello.
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 Why don't you introduce yourself, Kyla, who just showed up?
And what would you like me to say about myself?
Just your whatever you want to say.
Just drop in some info, places people can find you if you want to promote your Instagram or anything like that, or if you're starting up Twitch, and possible character that you want to play, if you have
Oh,
even thought of that.
all right. Well, hello. My name is Kyla. I'm also known as the Palest Dahlia, or on my art Instagram, the Palest Dahlia Art. I come from the East Coast. I'm pretty new at playing dungeons, so this is a very big learning experience for me.
Yeah,
Play in the
And
dungeons.
this one's a
um,
double duty for you because it's
Yeah.
also learning a new program.
but
Uh,
I mean, I guess that's probably good because I'm just starting fresh from.
yeah, you'll ask all the
Scratch.
questions that I won't think to explain.
Yeah.
Because this is also for everybody else's benefit.
I
In
think it's gonna
addition
be
to
easier
our
for me.
brainstorming session. Um,
All right, I
so
just launched the game. It's
Palis
loading.
Dahlia.
That's fine. Yeah, it'll take a bit to load the actual game for Roll20.
Yeah, it takes a bit, and sometimes your stuff won't appear right away. You can see in the lower left-hand corner over here all the people that are in the game right now. Uh, Normally, it'll look like this. God damn it, Allie. You have the torch for an icon.
I am the torch.
It just shows your like user icons, but you can disable that by going to this gear up here and then going to player avatar size, which is scrolled down a bit, and then just doing names only. I like names only because it gets them out of the way so that we can actually see the rest of the game board. And right now,
But
Okay.
it's just a
but I
sort
spent
of
so long looking at art.
right now it's just on a splash screen. I just uploaded an image and put it on a flat background. Um, Anyway, we haven't done introducing ourselves. Uh, who else wants to go next? How about Allie?
I'll go next. So I'm Allie, or Allie Breaks Art. I am a streamer on Twitch. Been doing it for a couple years now, and I play D&D with Noble Crumpet on his Sunday games, and on Saturday, and here. And we talk about homebrew stuff all the time. There's a lot of D&D.
A lot of D&D, and she may be in and out of this game, depending on availability.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
and that's fine, because that's what this campaign is going to be kind of designed about. I'll maybe get into that later. How about you, Ben?
Oh, me? Yeah. Hi. I'm Ben or Benji / Inertia Games on Twitch. I was gonna participate in this, but there's a hot tub stream going on Twitch, so I think I'm gonna watch it instead.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
understandable. So
neither.
gotta keep
Um,
those people in work.
I don't have any anything to plug really. It's just
Do you have an idea?
Oh
Words. Do you have
yeah.
an idea for your character?
So far,
Well,
all I know is Warforged Druid.
okay, we'll get into
Basically,
that.
okay,
There's
he's
one
probably gonna tell me no.
There's one more person to explain or to introduce, and that's Shane. That's Shane, everybody.
Hey,
Um,
Shane.
Wow.
do you have anything that you want to say, or
I think he said it.
all right, it's
I
fine too.
bet.
Ever the man of ever the man of few words.
Well, Shane plays in our other game that's normally in person, so he's somewhat familiar with Roll20 because we had to shift onto that for the
Quarantine days.
quarantine days. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's got a little intro to this as well. But yeah, that's everybody. That's all five of them. The other thing that's going to be unique to this game is that we're going to be once we get things rolling, so maybe a session or two later, I'm going to be picking a random patron from my Patreon and bringing them into the game if possible, or if they want to. If they don't want to, that's fine too. And they'll stay for like 3 to 5 sessions, or like a dungeon layer, because we are playing the
That's
Undermountain.
exciting.
Hmm?
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
I still think like a month is perfect because I wait. Do you go by creation or do you go by month for your Patreon?
I go by month. So actually
Okay,
that might make sense, but the timeline is about a month anyway. I just averaged it out 3 to 5 sessions just because there might be a good time for somebody to leave or a bad time for somebody to leave.
that's
Um,
fair.
and it also depends on how fast you guys progress. Anywho, this is Roll20. Um, why don't we start by kind of asking you guys what you're interested in playing, since I know that you're dying to maybe say what that is. Benji, you wanted to be a Warforged Druid.
I did. It's true.
It's Druid.
That's true. I want to be basically a
Fuck
Beast Wars
me.
Transformer boy.
Yeah, you want to be a Beast War,
I want to be
Beast
a Beast
Former.
War. Go into a Star War.
Robots in disguise. God, this is gonna be like just a whole nostalgia trip for me.
It's gonna be really cool. The art is gonna be great, Ellie.
I know, and you know who's gonna be
Fan
drawing
art?
it?
It's gonna be you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's another thing.
Ew.
If you guys have like an image in mind, you can just send me the image, or if you want to draw your own image, that's fine too. And then I can make tokens for you guys. Because right now I don't technically
Dope.
have tokens for you
oh,
guys yet.
good. I have a
Um,
bunch of references. That's good.
One of character. Step 2. Token.
exactly. Um, so, Allie, I know you at least had one character concept.
Actually, I have two right now, but I'm still going to definitely wait on what you guys pick because I'm always fine with being like the filler. Like I love kind of fitting a character into a composition. So, but we have BB Blues, who is a blue dragonborn kind of bounty hunter, is the idea, which would be a ranger. Um, and then another idea was this pompous, annoying paladin slash like war mage cleric. We'll see. So I've got two
Okay.
for now.
I
Uh,
kind of want to see you play an asshole paladin.
with the
That
stick up
that
their
was the
butt.
idea, is to play an asshole paladin.
I've
Like
never seen you play somebody that's not like naturey, foresty,
I'm playing a
warlocky,
rogue
dark.
right now.
Yeah, it's always something like shady. You've never been like an
So
out
upset that
front
I had
like.
to sell our friend. Oh.
Fuck you.
You've never been the whole Magnus rushes in type.
In our
All right.
other
Sneaky
game,
Yep.
brat.
we have a paladin. In the Dork Vision game, we have a paladin, but he's like he's a paladin that seeks out corruption and destroys it, but he's very passive and chill about it. Like, hey, I don't think you should be doing that. Like, that's wrong to like steal, I think.
Just like if Batman smoked weed, a whole lot of pot.
Sure. Um,
Sure.
so how about either of you guys? I know that you guys weren't totally briefed on what you on this entire game, but Shane, do you have any ideas on a character you want to make?
Was either cleric or paladin.
Oh,
I think I was toying with,
gotcha. You
or
can.
or maybe bard, but it really depends on how.
Chris,
What do you
are you
call it?
gonna sing for us, Shane?
Oh hell no!
Oh fuck! Then don't be a bard, you
It'll be
pussy.
like some random bard that just doesn't believe in singing and hates inns and taverns or something like that.
Oh my
I
god,
only,
the
A
anti bard.
celibate bard.
I only kind of want you to be a bard just so you can say bad. So I can hear you say
Bad.
bad constantly. I was thinking of being a bad. I'm a bad kid.
I'm a
Please.
beard.
A beard?
I'm bad with a
I'm a
wicked beard.
beard from Gears of War.
Jesus.
My name's Bard the Bod. Bard the bearded bod
Bad, the bearded bad.
with
I
a
hate this
bod.
so much. I feel bad
With
for
a
any
rockin'
patron
bod.
that comes in here.
You're not excited already? I'm so excited.
No. Nope, the dad groans. It's already beginning.
Damn it.
Puns.
And what about you, Kyla? I know you were still contemplating ideas.
So I ended up. I don't know if this is the one that you sent me,
Oh, I just
but
sent you like a random generator. Like you can click the button multiple times and it'll just keep generating them.
so this is probably the same thing that you sent me. But from what I can tell, I definitely want to be a goblin. I know that.
Oh my god,
Nice.
yes.
Okay.
So into it.
Boy.
I'm trying to decide if I want to be a male or a female though, because I don't know why, but like because I saw this particular art on this website that I was like, oh my god, I know how I could make this into my like big dopey forehead goblin art. So I was like, I'm like tend to like or drawn towards doing males, I should say. So that's why I'm like deciding if I want to do a male, but I kind of want to do a warlock because I saw one of them holding like a voodoo doll,
Oh,
and
that's kind of neat.
so I'm wondering if I could be like if somehow, since I'm not as knowledgeable of the classes and the races, if there's a way for me to be something close to a goblin witch doctor.
This feels
I
very World of
mean,
Warcraft troll.
Goblin
Like a
Warlock
witch
will
doctor?
No, but
definitely
I want it
work.
to be a goblin.
I know,
Like I
I'm
want it
just
to be
saying.
real
Goblin is a race that
small.
you can be.
Yeah.
No, I know,
There-
but I haven't. I see warlock and I see sorcerer, I think,
So
but
Warlock's probably the closest thing to Witch Doctor, unless you want to like reflavor a druid or reflavor a cleric. A witch. If you want to lean towards the doctor part, then that's the cleric. If you want to
Mm.
lean towards the nature aspect, that's the druid. And if you
If you want
want
to
to
lean toward
lean
the witch.
towards the witch, that's warlock.
I think I definitely want to do warlock then, because I always do some sort of ranger or druid, so I want to try something that I don't normally do.
Sure. So the warlock in D&D, their lore is that they get their magic from a eldritch patron. The three standard options, which you don't have to be bound by, are the archfey, like they have an elder patron that is an archfey and it gives them their magic, or a great old one like what's a Warcraft aberration eldritch horror, like Cthulhu.
I don't know.
Nazoth.
Nazoth, sure. Um,
Okay.
so that would be something that gives you your power, and it's like weird and eldritch and tentacly. Um, Another of the base options is the fiend. So like a devil gives you your powers, and it's more
Ooh.
Like an
fiery and
imp. I'm
whatnot.
talking about.
So do you think for a witch doctor that the fiend would probably be like what I would want if I want to do like have a little voodoo doll?
You can have a voodoo doll for any one of them. Any one of those three really works, to be honest. I'm trying to think, what are the
Thinking
other
of the
two
witch
from
doctor from
Xanathars?
Diablo that you could probably have
Well,
some
I had a witch
influence.
doctor in Diablo, which is also kind of why.
Nice.
But I just saw
Hmm.
this big dopey faced goblin, and I was like, I want to be him.
I love how you found fan art
Doesn't.
first and you're like, that's me.
I
I'm
want that one.
assuming this is fan art on the website, not the
I mean, it's
lore.
the internet, it could be literally anything. But
Well, it says support me on Ko-fi, so I'm gonna guess
I
maybe
believe it's coffee, but don't
Coffee.
quote me
Oh,
because it's like buy me a coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Uh,
definitely looks like fan art because none of these pictures look like remotely the
Can you
same.
share it? I'd like to see it.
I
Yeah,
would
you can
like
drop
to
links.
see.
Oh,
You don't
well,
have to send it to me, but you can definitely post it if you want to.
hold on. I have to refresh it back to
The
one.
the
Some of
oth-
these classes are cute as hell, and I've never heard of them.
the
There's
other
a lot of stuff.
yeah, that thing that I sent you has like every option currently available in D&D. It isn't just the core books, and that's why I
Yeah.
kind
With
of like it.
5B.
The
Because
other,
I've seen a turtle and those are cute as hell.
yeah,
What's
turtles.
the other thing that I'm thinking of? It's not a voodoo doll, but it's something. Oh, a fetish.
Yeah,
What's a
Oh, Ben.
fetish?
it's
That's
essentially
That's what I was thinking.
like a gathering of like objects that are important, and it kind of creates like
Yeah.
a little. It's something that you wave at people to do magic.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's your
but
source of like
it's called a fetish, yes, and it's
like a
usually like,
wand.
yeah, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, like if a witch kind of like gathered up a bunch of herbs and like skulls and tied them all up together and then just tied it to a string or something. That's the
It's just
fetish.
Oh,
an
cool.
inanimate object worshipped for its supposed magical powers or because it's considered to be inhabited by a spirit. It could be literally anything.
Yeah,
It
but
could be a statue, it could be feathers, it could be skulls, it could be a fetish is anything associated with like that person and their relationship with magic.
whatever your fetish is,
Yeah,
Wink,
no kink shaming.
wink.
No kink shame.
Unless that's your kink, then
So,
I
Unless
guess
it's chains, then we got a lot of kinks.
so
no kink shaming.
Uh, I'm gonna bring you guys through a bit of Roll20, um, and just show people how to like kind of get started. I'm set as the DM, so this is sort of the DM's job. Um, there's a bunch of tabs up here. Not all the players can see all these tabs. For instance, they don't have this one, which is the art library, and I have a ton of stuff already in here, but that's just for me. You can upload by doing that, add folders to organize using that. Um, this is the important one, which is the journal tab. It gives you all of your different things. I've created a ton of journals that I've imported for like all the monsters. Um, but for them to create characters, you would go to add and then character. There's also a handout and folder. But you would want to create a character. I already have, and this one is Shane's. I'm using his because I need to link him up now that he's appeared in the game. So you'd want to go to edit and put it in his journal, and I'm going to put it in mine as well so that I know I don't lose it. And then you have to change can be edited and controlled by to Noble Crumpet and Shane. And then you can save changes. And then I'm going to hit show to player so that Shane can see it. Um,
Ah.
yeah.
Is this something that I should be seeing on my screen
uh,
happening?
are you able to see it?
I mean, I saw Shane pop up, but if you're like moving your mouse around and stuff, I don't see anything.
Oh,
I think you'd only see that on Twitch.
yeah, this is for the Twitch
Oh,
benefits.
okay.
Yeah.
I won't be doing that too often, I hope, but mostly just to like explain vague Roll20 things.
I was here struggling to find the edit
But
button.
this
like,
this this show to players thing, that showed it to everybody, even if it's not normally in your journal. So you can just close out of it if you're not Shane. And Shane can always access it by going to this journal tab, and it should show up in here for him. Um, these little dots represent who can see what. Like I'm this purple one, so I can see all of these, and then they have their own little colors that they can see. Okay, so uh, everybody, get your little character sheets open if you have access to them. If you don't,
Yeah.
then let me know.
please direct me to where
Yeah.
that is.
I want to
So,
use the character mancer.
I
It's
wouldn't.
okay, but meh.
There's an edit sheet directly that we usually use.
I usually use edit sheet directly, and I'll tell you why. But Kyla, to get to that, you go to the top right where it
Yep.
says like chat and journal. You want to go to journal,
Okay.
and then it should show up in one of those. I think it
And
might be inside of a
just
bunch of
says
folders.
just the one that says Kyla.
Yep,
Okay.
I just
Oh,
put
cool.
it as your name.
Cool. Oh, cool. Okay, I see it. Okay.
So if you
Oh,
open that, do edit sheet directly. Yeah, because you definitely want to edit the sheet directly because you're playing a goblin, which is not a normal race. I say normal,
edit
but
sheet
it's
directly. Okay.
just
Can I
not
ask?
SRD. What?
Where do you see edit sheet directly? Because that like never even popped up for me.
I had to go back, and then it like just popped up in the middle of my screen.
Yeah, if you've already started editing yours, it seems. So that would
Oh,
have
is that
showed
why?
up at the very beginning. There was a button, like 3 buttons that said like use character mancer, create an NPC. or edit sheet directly. The Charactermancer, and the reason that I don't really like using it is because it is very helpful for helping you through creating a character, but it only has the stuff in the SRD, which is the system
Right.
reference document, which is the stuff that D&D allows people to use if they're not D&D. And
Right.
technically Roll20 is not D&D. They have partnerships with them and you can buy the D&D books through Roll20, but I don't want to
It's
do
still
that.
not officially like linked and stuff.
Yeah, I think if you buy the book it links it up, but I don't know that for sure.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I just haven't because I don't know if that would be worth it for me.
They should
Um,
really let you like, if you have the book, fucking scan a code in something and be like, link it to all your online shit.
Well, that's the reason why
that's
they
a
have
sort
D&D
of
Beyond. So they created a different venue or avenue for purchasing and having digital format for that.
Yeah,
and it's
I just
also
wish they
it's
should
also
just let you
cheaper to buy
register.
it through Roll20 versus like a physical copy. And the reason for that is because you're not really buying the book so much as you're buying the service of like
Yeah,
having it fully integrated, um,
right.
like D&D Beyond and stuff. And that's kind of what I've come to terms with. But if it's not
I
for
already bought
you,
all my
then
books.
don't get it. Um, so Charactermancer. I guess we're gonna sort of go into how to play D&D now, um, and
Right.
creating a
I'm ready.
character. So, what you guys are gonna want to do is, um, I need to get you, Kyla, the player's handbook.
Yes, please.
um,
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna go and
And
find my information. Send
God,
it
I
to
wish I
you.
had my physical copy with me.
I know. I have mine with me, but it's like impossible to, you know, share it. Where the heck is it?
Mm.
Mine's at
Also,
my brother's
I'll
house, and it's quarantined.
hey oh.
If we need it, we could just mail it to Texas, and he can mail it back when he's done.
Oh
And
yeah.
we could
Mm.
just keep doing that
Smears
over
all
and
over
over
it.
and over again.
Tears open the
Oh wait,
package. Oh yeah, okay. Closes it,
Liquid
okay,
packages it
pages.
back
all
up.
right, yeah.
Just as a heads up, I'll keep an eye on chat for you in case people are asking questions too,
Oh,
as far
thank you
as like
very
using
much.
Thank
Roll20.
you.
I am
It's like the mod job.
um yeah, that's very helpful
Only I
because
was
I'm
a
going to
mod
be
in this.
focusing on you guys. I dropped it in the Facebook chat for you, Kyla. Um
Thank you.
so that'll take a bit
You
for you
said
to
Facebook?
yeah. So that'll
Okay.
take a bit for you to download. Um as of now, I can get you guys familiarized with the sheet. So the sheet, you can edit everything by kind of clicking in it in the right place. For instance, if you want to edit your ability score, you hit the bubble beneath the big zero. You're like going to edit
Okay.
the 10, not the 0. And then if you wanted to roll that, you would hit the word strength. So it would
Oh, nifty.
populate it into the chat and show that to everybody. And it rolls twice, for advantage or disadvantage. I usually keep that on, but if you don't like that, you can go to this gear and you can go down to here. Forget which setting it is because it's all a wall of text to me right now. Um,
Wait,
That was a
so
fast download.
you said it rolls twice for advantage or disadvantage, but like, if you don't
You
need it,
see how
which
you
one do you
see
take?
yeah,
the numbers?
I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Don't auto roll damage. Oh, always roll. It's right at the top. That's why I couldn't find it. So up here in the character sheet, where it says core bio spells, and then there's a gear. If you click on the gear, this is like right below the top
Oh,
header. If you click on the gear, it shows you a bunch of behind the scenes sort of stats and stuff. Um, yeah, I was sort of on Shane's. But in the top query, it says always roll for advantage, always or advantage toggle, query advantage, or never roll advantage.
Oh, I like the advantage toggle setting.
Yeah, so you can just change it to that, and it'll like put up a thing where you can tell them what you're rolling. Query advantage is every time that you roll, it'll bring up a pop-up menu and say, "Do you have advantage or disadvantage?" And never roll advantage is just a straight roll. I'm gonna create another sheet so Shane can actually control his own sheet. Um, this is
Yeah, Shane, control your sheet.
well, because I was just like showing them through Shane's sheet, but he actually has live control because it edits live. Um, so I'm just gonna create a new one.
Wow.
Do you want to show on mine because I'm probably gonna need the most help?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we can do that.
That's a good.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'm looking, but I'm lost. But I figured out how to put my class as Warlock. So.
class is Warlock. Got it.
I mean, you know how to use it already. Boom, got it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, a
I
lot
mean,
of
I
it
also
because you're editing the sheet directly. A lot of it is just typing stuff in. So, for instance, Goblin. You're now a Goblin.
okay.
There is no subrace for Goblin.
Okay.
Subclass is
That you
like
know of.
that you know of. Subclasses for you are like the Archfey, the Fiend, or the Great Old One.
Oh.
That's what those are. Each class kind of has a subclass that lets you further customize your character. And
All
there's a
right.
lot of
I'll look
different
into those.
subclasses in a lot of different books. Xanathar's Guide is where you find a bunch of extra ones. For the Warlock, there's also the Celestial, which doesn't seem very uh, witch huntery. Witch Hunter,
Witch doctor.
Witch Doctor. Witch Hunter's a great
Hunter.
movie.
Kill the
Get your lore
witch.
straight, you fucking nerd.
Oh, God damn it! I'm gonna be drawn out and quartered for that. So the other one is the Hexblade, which is more of a martial class. Like they swing a weapon that is made out of Eldritch energy, a lightsaber, if you
Okay.
will. Um,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, so you can put that there. We're starting at level 5 for this campaign, which
Okay.
is the
Hell yeah.
Dungeon of the Mad
Da-da-da-da.
Mage, which is the sequel to Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which I did run Kyla through, but it was very hectic because we had like 9 players.
Yes.
Not
Uh,
ideal.
so it's definitely understandable that not all of that
Are we
information.
starting? Did you say we're starting at the tavern?
Yeah, we're going to be starting in the tavern.
Is the little ghost gonna be there?
Oh, different
No, not
tavern.
that tavern.
That is the
Oh,
tavern that you
okay.
guys owned. This is the Yawning Portal, which is a.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yep, you remember that one. That's the one where a troll crawled out of the giant hole in the center.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure. Yep. That okay.
So, the first thing that you usually do when you're creating a character is you roll for stats. This is a good idea to figure out the dice rolling system. So, if you go to the left-hand corner, or the left-hand side of the screen, there's a bar with a bunch of little icons and stuff. There's one that looks like a
Toolbar.
D20 on the left-hand toolbar. This is like on the screen, not on the character sheet.
The 1 second from the bottom.
Yep, the 1 second from the bottom.
Okay.
There's some icons there that are there for me and not for you guys. But if you click on that, you can also just do one of the things from that table that it pops up. But if you click on it, it brings up the advanced dice roller that gives you a bit more finesse and control over it.
Oh, nifty.
Right below advanced roll, you can put, for you guys, it's going to be 4d6. So you can change it, the first thing to 4 and then to the next thing to d6. And if there's a modifier, you can also add a thing there. You probably won't need this too much except for like spell damage rolls, because you can do a lot of the rolling right from the sheet, and it'll calculate everything for you. But if you do that, it'll roll it, and it'll show you what all the dice results were and the total. So this is how you roll for stats in 5th edition. You roll 4d6s and you get rid of the lowest one. So for instance, my roll right here is a 16, which is pretty good since it ranges from 3 to 18. You would record that somewhere, and that number is going to go in one of these slots here. In strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. These are your 6 abilities. These are what power the rest of the character sheet, kind of. So you're going to want your best one in your best sort of ability for your class, which for the Warlock tends to be charisma, and then either
Oh, yeah.
constitution or dexterity so that they can survive. Um,
Are we doing the rolling or?
So, I was going to get to that. We are doing. There are different ways to do it. There's like a point buy system that some people use. I use it very often, but this time I'm going to do it this sort of old-fashioned way with the roll 4d6, drop the lowest, and then one of your scores is already going to be a 15. so nobody gets stuck with anything too low or too high. So everybody gets 115 that they can put wherever they want. The rest are going to be rolled as I described. So you can do that on your own time. If you guys want to take care of that, you can do that now. I'm going to try and find something
You can always
else.
use real dice too.
Yeah, you can always
generally.
use real dice.
These are terrible. A 9 and a 12. Well,
If you
not
want
even.
me to do it right now, I'm just gonna need you to walk me through each one.
Yeah, you should do it for her, or not for her, but well,
Well, it
where
depends
should we
on
go?
what character you're playing as well. So each of you might want to have like your
Oh, so I
like
should look.
stats in different areas.
Okay, so that's what. Okay, all
um,
right.
I can definitely do it right now. I'm going to barrage it in the chat so that I can have it all grouped up together. So let's do, we're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, thank you, Shane. God damn it.
Those are some pretty good rolls.
I was like, I'm gonna keep them all together in a nice neat row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 50 d6. Okay, barring that one, if we drop the lowest for each one, do you have scrap paper or something,
Yes,
Kyla?
I'm taking notes.
Okay, so you have, for the first one, you got a 13,
Okay,
and the next one is a 13,
okay,
and the next one is a 14,
okay,
next one is another 14. Okay.
okay.
And then the last one is a 15. So,
Pretty well rounded.
yeah, pretty well rounded. You have a 13, a 13, a
Nice.
14, a 14, and a 15, and a
14.
15.
Wow,
Wait,
sweet rolls.
really? Seriously?
Yeah, because you get one free 15.
Oh fuck yeah.
So,
Okay.
in the terms of what's good for you, Kyla, uh,
Mm-hmm.
there in the player's handbook it shows you like what sort of abilities are good for your class. I just happen to know them because I just have experience,
Okay.
and a lot of people will kind of experiment with different builds too. But as a warlock, your spells run off your charisma. So the higher your force of personality, the better your spells are. Um, so we're just going to go ahead and put a 15 in there,
Yep.
which calculates to a +2 bonus. There's
Oh
a
yes. I'm gonna have
You
to do it
keep these
myself.
rolls, right? I'm keeping these rolls. I don't care what I'm playing.
well, actually, you didn't get those. Someone named Torch got those.
Good torch.
Yeah, you
My
can.
name's Torch. Actually, I was gonna name my Warforged Druid Torch.
Whatever. Then I'll pass the torch over to you.
No,
Yeah, you can keep those rolls, Alessandra. Um, so
I got all 18s. What does that mean?
I don't think you did.
You did it wrong.
Yeah, I think you
No,
did
I
it
think
wrong.
I got all 18. I think I got all 18s. I think you can maybe just tell me what to do with that.
You got all 18s, but one of them's supposed to be a 15.
Yeah, I added 3 to it, dummy.
Yeah, like you said. Um, so Kyla, you
Yes.
got 5 more things to place. Um,
Yep.
the next thing that you probably want is one for survivability. So you'd probably put your other 15 into either dexterity or constitution. Dexterity is like your ability to dodge. Constitution is your ability to resist damage, and it also increases your health. So one's more of a tanky build, and one's more of a dodgy build, like rogue
Um,
versus fighter.
mm, well, I feel like I need more health as a warlock, but
You can also put your next highest skill into the other one too,
oh, that's true.
because they
I
actually.
just want more health because I'm very scared of dying.
Yeah, sure. So we can put the 15. Whoops, I accidentally think I rolled. But
Okay, 15
well, that's
too.
an example of what your roll would look like, except it's.
You.
I did it before it actually updated, so it's
Kyla,
plus
we'll
0.
make sure you never die.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna have
I
an
can sh-
asshole paladin or a really cool Western dragonborn. You ain't dying. We'll keep you alive.
and I'm a
ain't
druid,
dying.
so like
You
I'm
never
sure I'll
know
figure
what's gonna
something
happen,
out.
man.
But I could turn into a bear, like a fucking
Druids are very
bear.
versatile. They're one of the. If we had to put it in like Warcraft terms, they're one of the like very versatile. I don't think there's a World of Warcraft term for it actually, but like they're a middle class. They can either go kind of damagey, they can go kind of
Wow,
tanky.
even in my fantasies, I'm still middle class. Fuck,
Damn it. Will I
every
ever
time.
be a billionaire?
At least middle class still exists.
Yeah. Well, not in
True.
D&D. There's a gigantic peasant problem. Anywho,
Wow.
Like they're a problem. Like they're a.
yeah, we need to get rid of
Also,
them, obviously.
I
Okay,
just
God,
need everybody to know that I've been spending a lot of time, not free time, but like the downtime seconds trying to find the picture I originally found. And I finally found it after refreshing this entire freaking time since I said I was going to find it.
Nice.
Drop it into
So
the
this,
Discord under
so this
Maymays.
means that he needs to be. Oh, there he is. Look at
Oh,
him.
that's the classic Pathfinder goblin.
Oh my God, I know him. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
He's
that's what
so
Pathfinder goblins
cute.
look like. That's
I love
awesome.
him.
That's
I
Bob.
saw him, and I don't know where the other one is, but he had like a shroud on his face, and he had this very tiny
If you
voodoo
want to
mask.
find it, you might be able to find it if you look up Pathfinder goblins, because that is their style. So it might be from one of their books, and they just took it for that app or whatever.
So this isn't even this wasn't even fan art. This was legitimate
It could have
art
been.
from
A lot of
the.
those things that in that rollable table were like fan arts and magic cards, and some people were just pulling stuff online just for an image.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
I was
that's the
just
goblin.
suggesting in case you wanted to try and find the actual one that you were looking for. If it looked like that goblin, it's a quote unquote Pathfinder goblin.
It's
well,
the teeth.
that thing's cute as hell, and I want to look like him.
Yeah, Pathfinder goblins are a lot cuter than
Oh, was it a
D&D.
shaman?
Dude is
Maybe
not
it
the
was a shaman.
Maybe.
Maybe the shaman was the. Oh, it looks like from the pictures that was the maybe the one that flew by that had the little voodoo doll.
I think maybe you should just be a goblin that has a little dinosaur suit
Yeah.
on that I
Oh
posted.
my god. That is so cute. What if I
What
was
if
a
his
candy corn?
hand on his hips?
What if you were a candy corn?
Yeah, dressed up like a candy corn.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Either
I
way,
suddenly have an. I
um,
suddenly have
Whoa,
an echo.
whoa, that's whoa. That is not
What are you talking
Yeah,
about? In
that.
anything, this is what the girl looks like. You said you're gonna play a boy, so that's what boys look like, and this is what the girl looks like.
Oh, be the boy.
those
There
fucking
you
fin.
go.
Are you serious? It's that drastic?
No, it's not. I'm making a joke about all fantasy like World of
Oh,
Warcraft and how
oh.
you get like trolls look really cool with their giant tusks, and then women are just like, "Hey, look, I'm sexy with teeny
you
tiny
can't
like
really
nothing."
see what's happening. They're posting in the Discord a bunch of images.
Or posting in the Maymays. You can share it, but that's up
Oh,
to
do
you.
you want me to post it in the
No, you
No,
don't
no,
have
you
to.
can up
I'm
Twitch.
just saying because they can't see the Discord because stream mode isn't enabled.
Oh,
Anywho, we got 3 more stats here. I put your
right here we
14
go.
in dexterity.
I saw that, thank you.
You have 3 more empty ones: strength, intelligence, and wisdom. Your strength is obviously your attacks. You don't really need those, but it could still be useful if you wanted to do that.
Like physical attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intelligence is your ability to recall information and figure out puzzles like logic puzzles. Wisdom is your ability to either it's kind of your street smarts versus your book smarts, but it's also representative of your ability to perceive things and be open to the world around you. So it
All right. Well, I definitely want wisdom to be the next highest.
sounds good.
Then.
So that leaves the rest of it for 13 and 13.
All right. 13
Easy poosy.
and 14. Perfect.
So it calculates that out. If you need the calculation that it's using, 10 and 11 are plus 0, and then every even number after 10 increases the modifier here by 1. But it already does it for you, so you don't really need to know it.
Okay.
Proficiency bonus is at the top right next to the strength icon. Proficiency bonus is a bonus that is applied to everything that you are considered proficient with, involving weapons, spells, skills, saving throws, because you can be proficient in saving throws, as well as weapons and tools and languages and stuff. So that pretty much is a baseline modifier that gets added to a lot of stuff. Right now it's set at 3 because you're level 5. That'll increase automatically as you increase in level.
Okay.
And right now your armor class is at 12 because you have +2 dexterity, and your armor is, when you're not wearing any armor, it's 10 plus 2. Your initiative
Okay.
is also equal to your dexterity, so it's 2.
Okay.
Uh, I'm going to pull up, I have Volo's guide right in front of me, which is where the goblin race is.
Oh my God, Allie.
What?
I know, I'm such a nerd.
I have. Oh, I don't want to commit your character to this, but
Just lay it on her.
I just, I just think it would be really cool if, like, you know, what's her name? Ash from Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how she has that whole Western vibe,
Yes.
and she's got her like giant robot dude
Yep.
behind her.
Yep.
So I had this like idea that my character would have been like found in a forest, just like sitting there, like powered down, like rotting, kind of
Mm.
not rotting, but like covered in moss and like just vines and just kind of stuck there.
I
And
feel like that
with
sounds like an
nothing.
Overwatch character as well, but maybe not
Well, it
Bridget. No,
like Bastion,
Bastion. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So
all down for
like,
that.
I want you to have been the person that found me, and I'm just like this giant, like lumbering tree robot
I like
that
it.
follows you around and is like super tied to you because you're the only person. You're the only person he knows.
Chris, does this sound familiar? Except now I have a bigger lizard folk, and then there's a larger, larger Warforged.
Oh no!
It's Black and Squad.
What is it
It
from?
does sound familiar.
Except my Dragonborn's cooler than your Kobold.
I mean, it
Aw,
doesn't have to be that. Somebody else
bummer.
could find me.
No, I totally would love to find you. That'd be awesome. I'm just saying because Dragonborns are like the second evolution for the Pokemon kind of thing. They're not quite a dragon yet, you
Hmm.
know.
I
I was
picture
trying
my
to
guy being very big,
I
but
was trying
very
to get some
quiet
music playing, but
and
apparently
simple.
Roll20 doesn't like the music when it gets imported in here like this.
Boo.
Why am I
Nope.
being? I hear an echo when I talk.
Oh, might be
Mm.
Allie. Allie tends to echo things.
Oh, because I have push to talk on, and this isn't me streaming. This is you streaming. So,
Yeah.
oh, Ben, you have um Twitch up?
Only in the. I have it on my TV, and my Xbox's
Oh,
audio is
okay.
unplugged.
Anywho, um,
Eh.
you can play music at Roll20, but it kind of sucks. It's like I still use it because it's useful and it can play music for everybody else. But I think because I copied this game over, it probably corrupted all of the music files, so I'm gonna have to delete them and re-upload them because otherwise it isn't working. But that's something for another day. You can manage audio tracks right where here it is. Right in here, you can just drag from like iTunes and drag it in, and it'll add it. So that's music. So I have the goblin traits up for you, Kyla.
Okay.
Um, so there's just a bunch of traits that you get as a goblin, as well as ability score increases. Your dexterity score increases by 2, and your constitution score increases by 1. So,
Okay.
oh my god, you're like unkillable, huh? So you have
Whoa!
16 dexterity now, and
Hell yeah.
16 constitution, which are both now higher than your charisma, which is your spellcasting ability. Um, that's unusual, but it's going to be helpful because it increases your AC and your hit points by a lot. If you wanted to not die, this is the build.
Woo! I
Um,
did good.
Also, right next to underneath proficiency bonus, it has your saving throws. It should have wisdom and charisma checked. I believe it automatically checked those because you're a warlock. It depends on your class. Um, those are the saving throws you're proficient in is wisdom and
Yes.
charisma, so it's added the proficiency bonus to that.
Yep.
Um, but anyway, Goblin's size small. Does it show size? The sheet. It's kind of weird that it doesn't. Is it in bio? It is in bio. So on the next page where it says bio next to core, um, there's a thing
Ooh,
where you can enter your
hello.
size. It also has a bunch of other stuff like age, height, weight, eyes, skin, and hair. You can just enter that in. There's a bunch of other stuff, just mostly for notes, backstory, treasure, additional traits, allies,
Okay.
character appearance. So this all can be filled in on your own time. Um, and you should be seeing what I see
I
live.
do.
So your base walking speed is 30 feet. I wasn't actually sure about that because some small creatures have not as fast movement speed, but looks like you're a speedy goblin.
Woohoo.
And that's it for like the statistical ones. Otherwise, you have a bunch of abilities gained from your race. So at the uh, bottom right, there's a column called Features and Traits. On Roll20, you have to manually put these in. If you did the Character Mancer, it will fill in some of these, but it doesn't have access to all of them. For instance, the Goblin. Um, so if you click on the plus, you can fill in the name of the ability. For instance, the first one is Dark Vision. Source Racial, which it can also be class, feat, background, or other, but it's a racial one. And we'll just put that it's because you're a goblin. Um, and I'll just try and type it out verbatim. You can see in. This is hard going from my like desk up to the screen. And see. As if it were bright light, and in darkness, as if it were dim.
Back the darkness.
I attack the darkness.
I attacked the darkness.
Can't discern color in darkness.
I
Only
attacked the
shades of
darkness with
gray.
magic.
And when you're done, you hit the gear, and it'll put it there in a nice fancy format for you. Um, if
Whoa.
if you click on the text, it'll collapse it. Because if you
No, bring it back.
you can just click on it, and it'll bring it back. But if you have like a ton of these in this thing, it might be useful to be able to
Oh, to
collapse
do it.
them. If you
Okay.
hit the chat bubble next to the gear, it'll put it into the chat and tell everybody, look guys, I have dark vision. There's other
Awesome.
abilities here, but since I don't want to type them in, um, I'll put them in later or give them to you. Oh, you're also able to speak, read, and write Common and Goblin. So that's going to go over in the lower left where it says Other Proficiencies and Languages. Now you can type the plus and you can like manually put it in, like what type of proficiency it is, what it is, and this is just a gray bar. See, it didn't know what to put in, it just put it's a language proficiency. But this is an interesting feature for Roll20. If something that you want to put in this sheet is in the SRD, you can go to the I in the middle of the right-hand column where the chat is. It'll have chat, journal, and then this lowercase I with a circle. Hit that. It'll bring you to the compendium, and you can type in, we'll say, goblin, proficiencies, and monsters. There's monsters here too, goblin and hobgoblin, but we want this proficiency because you can speak goblin. If you click on it and drag it into the character sheet, it says it's accepting drop from compendium. It'll automatically put in that you are proficient in goblin. Then I can do, actually, Kyla, I'll have you try and do this.
Yes. Okay.
Go to the compendium, so the top right where that lowercase I is. Did you find it?
Lowercase I.
It's in the right hand column, like where the chat is.
Oh, okay. Where the chat is, got it.
You click that,
Oh,
and
yep. Oh, yep. Okay, got it.
then go to the search bar and type in common.
Common. Okay.
So you'll see like commoner, common clothes, undercommon. You want the common that's under proficiencies. Click that and drag
Okay.
it into your character sheet.
Click that in, and hold on. How do I hold on?
You just
I'm
click on
dragging it
the
all
name.
around.
Click on the name and drag it into the character sheet so you're hovering over it.
Oh. I was like
Yep, there you
in the
go.
actual like description, trying to like
Yeah,
drag
yeah,
the
yeah.
pop out box.
You just want it to be in the search, not clicking on it and bringing it up. I mean, you can obviously bring it in, click it and bring it up if you want to read what it is, but you don't have to. So you did it.
Okay.
You can do that with a lot of stuff, including items. Like if you found a potion of healing, you can type that in and drag it in, and it'll plop it in your inventory. I just gave you a potion of healing. Um,
Okay.
and it'll like so this is also kind of important. If you have an item, if you hover into where the weight is in the item, if you hover over it, there's a very tiny
Little
lowercase I.
eye.
Yep, you clicked it. That'll show you it is equipped, uses a resource, has an attack. You don't really have to worry about that. Um,
Okay.
it's a little hard to read, but if you extend this, and I think you can see that, um, you can extend it and it'll have everything of what this item does. Because it was in the SRD, it did it for you.
Okay.
The reason that it looks weird at the bottom is because it was a table that it tried to import. The poor
Oh,
thing
okay.
couldn't figure that out. Um, but yeah,
Is
uh,
there a certain weight that we can only hold or that a small class can hold?
yeah, and it'll tell you where it says total weight underneath the gold pieces and stuff. That'll tell you like encumbered. It'll like turn red and say that you're carrying too much, and that's based on your
Okay.
strength score.
Okay.
You don't need to know the specifics really.
Okay.
Bye,
Uh,
Shane.
He said BRB.
okay. Yeah, that's fine. He already knows a lot of this. So I'm trying to think what next. I guess we should go to the warlock. So Kyla, if you have that special document that I sent you, um, you can
The handbook.
yep,
Okay.
you can go to that and open it up to, well, yeah, open it up and then navigate yourself to page 105. The pages are probably going to be slightly off.
That's okay. 105. It's 128. You said 105?
Yep,
All right.
that's the
Almost
start of
there.
the warlock.
Oh, I just saw. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
All right.
So that is the first page of the warlock. It's got some fluff there. Um, if you go to the next page, 106, there's a big old table, and that shows you all of the stuff that you have. That's largely where you fill in the rest of your um, character sheet from. So because we're starting at level 5, you're going to get all of the features that are listed from levels 1st through 5th. So you get Otherworldly Patron, Eldritch Invocations, Pact Boon, an ability score improvement, and then no feature at level 5.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of other stuff. Um, yeah.
Background items.
Well, I mean the on the table specifically.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we don't need to choose background just yet.
So
Um,
I can just take all those spells and add them with the little eye symbol to my list?
it depends. Um,
Okay.
so you've also never played a spellcaster before, technically. The ranger had a few
No.
spells, but that was um,
Far and few between.
yeah, and I kind of like just dragged you through that. So trying to think how to do this here without just hand typing everything in. Um, so we have the proficiency bonus. That's set to 3. I think we'll choose spells like last. So we need to instead do your hit points. So your hit dice is a D8. It's already filled out for you. It's right next to those death saves in the center of the character sheet.
Yep.
Right. Oh,
I
guess it
see
doesn't
it.
let me type there.
It's like right below the hit point, temporary hit points.
Yep. So it says you have 5 hit dice. That's because you're level 5. Every time that you level up, you get another hit dice. And this adds your constitution. So, god damn it. Somebody put a deck on the screen.
No.
Son of a bitch.
I want to play while you're talking.
That thing is almost impossible to get rid of once you like get it up there. God damn it.
It's a very small deck, Allie.
How is it? How is that hard?
Well, it was hard the first time I saw it because I think last time when I was teaching Chase how to play, I was like popping up the Roll20 and I was like, okay, so what you're gonna want to do is, and then a deck appeared and then he's like, oh, how do I get rid of this? And I was like, god damn it.
What buttons were you
It was like
clicking?
it was the first thing he pressed. It's like, okay, we're gonna take you through the character sheet. What's this? God
What's a
damn it.
deck of cards?
Well, Chase, we don't need it. So put it away. I don't know how. Okay. So, hit dice, you have 5d8s. And I think it doesn't let you put in the exact calculation. But up top, I can put 5d8 plus, and this adds your Constitution modifier for each dice. So each hit dice, quote unquote, each hit die, quote unquote, is 1d8 plus 3. So since you're level 5, it's 5d8 plus 15. So that's your total calculation for your maximum hit points.
Okay.
So to get your hit points, normally when you're starting at level 1, you just maximize the dice and add your constitution. So that would be 8 plus 3, which is 11. So that's kind of your level 1 hit points. But you've leveled up since then, so I'm just going to roll for you 4 more d8s and then add 12. I'll put this in the chat. Ew. I'll re-roll that. There's like 2 ones in there. That's not fun. That's more average. Okay. So that's a 32, so we're going to add that to the 11. So that's a 43. So your current hit points, your current maximum for hit points is 43, which is pretty good for
Yay.
your level. Because if you didn't have any constitution, you would have 15 less than this. So somewhere
Ooh.
around 30 hit points.
Well, I lucked out, I guess.
Yeah. So that's your hit points. It tells you on that same Warlock page, right under class features, that shows you where the hit points are as well. But right below hit points, it says proficiencies on page 107. So that tells you what you're proficient with, which is light armor. So I'm going to type in light armor into the compendium. Go to proficiencies, dragon light armor. And
And
that'll,
simple weapons.
yep, and simple weapons. And that's good that I don't have to type in a bunch of individual weapons like, say, the wizard or the rogue. So now in the lower left, you'll see that you're proficient in light armor and simple weapons. Not proficient in any tools. It already told you that you're proficient in saving throws, wisdom, and charisma. It has already done that for you. And then skills. You can choose two from the following: Arcana,
Okay.
Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. I said it quickly because you can probably read it right there.
Yeah.
So you can pick any two of those. And if you later, like, we're going to choose a background later, and that usually gives you some more skill proficiencies. If there are duplicates, we can just choose a different one. So you don't have to worry about accidentally getting duplicates.
And where is it gonna be in the next pages coming up that further explain the skills and like the advantages they would have?
Um, so it doesn't really tell you in the first part, but it's very subjective as to
Okay.
what they do. I can tell you right now that Arcana is a knowledge-based skill. It's like if you encounter something magical, you're figuring out stuff about it. Like, oh, what is this arcane rune? What is this type of magic that is emanating in this area? What does this magic item do? Stuff like that.
Okay.
Deception is when you're trying to deceive somebody. You would roll against their insight check. History is your ability to recall information, uh, particularly like about the world, like the game world. It's kind of figuring out what your character would know. Um, Intimidation is trying to influence somebody by being scary and intimidating. Investigation is your ability to logically search through stuff. It's a bit different than perception, which is kind of its sister skill. Perception is kind of your ability to spot something out of the corner of your eye or the corner of your ear or whatever. Um,
Okay.
Investigation is more like looking around on a wall and looking for traps and stuff, looking for traps or secret doors. So that's more what the investigation skill is. Nature is, well, your knowledge about nature stuff, about beasts, about plants, and about the wilderness. Um, and religion is your knowledge about gods, deities, and what they are the gods of, as well as cults, um, rituals, clerics, all that sort of stuff. So you have a lot of knowledge-based skills here.
Okay. So I want Arcana
All right.
and I want I'm trying to figure out if I want intimidation or nature.
Um.
Because the thing I'm thinking about is if I had intimidation, if I had a voodoo doll, then I could be scary. I'd be
Okay.
like, "Ooga booga, I'm gonna curse you." Or if
So
I did
in
nature, then I would know how to like heal people and like be a good witch doctor. But what I'm thinking about,
Or curse
this
people.
is what I'm breeding in my head, and this might be a little off topic, but I started kind of like foiling a character together. Oh my god, what did I just? Okay, so the kind of character that I think I want, because I saw the Pathfinder that I think Ben sent in with the goblin that had a skull on its head. So I want to be a scary looking goblin, but underneath the skull, I'm like adorable as hell and I'm wearing a mask because I
because you're
want people
otherwise
to
cute.
think that I'm intimidating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if my mask flies off, then everyone's gonna be like, it's gonna be like this
Oh.
cute as hell thing, and like all my intimidation just gonna like fly out the fucking window. So
Okay.
that's
I
why
like
I'm
So
that a lot.
wondering
I
that's
was
why I'm
gonna
wondering
say I would pick intimidation because a
okay,
lot of the backgrounds that you're probably going to be looking at will probably give you nature as another skill proficiency.
and most things
And
that
if you want to
the
be like
that
a doctor as well, there's actually a skill for that which is called medicine.
okay,
So that's not one of the options you have as a warlock, but it might be for one of your backgrounds.
okay. So
Charisma is
then
your highest stat, so that helps. That
Yeah,
intimidation
yeah,
goes towards charisma.
that is
okay.
also true. So if
Alright,
you're
then yeah.
So go to the skills section of your character sheet and just click the check mark next to Arcana and next to Intimidation.
Hold on, I
They
gotta
should be in
find
alphabetical order.
I get 3 skills to
Arcana
put that in, right?
and
Are you a druid?
intimidation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check. It's different for each class.
Oh, shit.
So like the bard, I think gets 3 or 4 or something like that. Crazy. Um, Nope. You have choose 2.
Fuck me. Nature and animal handling it is.
Yep. There it
It
is.
only makes sense.
So yeah. You you clicking those check marks automatically says it tells the character sheet that you're proficient in that, so it'll add your
Okay.
proficiency bonus to it. So the numbers did go up. So now you have +4 in Arcana um, instead of +1, and +5 in Intimidation instead of +2. So that's good. And then equipment. You start with the following equipment. In addition to the equipment granted by your background. So you can choose a simple weapon or a light crossbow and 20 bolts. Um, do you have any weapons in mind that you can think of? Like,
Like a short dagger.
yeah, okay. I believe
Sacrificial.
for
Purely decorative.
simple
That's
weapons,
kind of what I'm thinking.
dagger is probably in there. There's also a sickle, a spear, a quarterstaff, a mace, a light hammer, javelin, hand axe, great club, probably not the great club, or a club.
What page are the simple weapons on? Oh,
149. I just didn't want to like have to make you lose your page.
oh no, I wrote down that it's page 99 plus is warlock.
Okay.
So, what you said it's 104,
149.
149. Sorry, 122. Oh, 152. Okay, so all right.
The other thing to consider for equipment, you can either have a component pouch or an arcane focus. This is basically an arcane focus would be if you had like a crystal ball or a staff with like an orb on it, um, or just like a fetish, I guess. Actually, that kind of answers my
Mm.
question because you sort of wanted a witch doctory thing, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because
we'll
I
just
once you started saying that an orb on the top, I was like, "Ooh, I could make it like put like the ornaments on the like the dangling ornaments on the staff to make it like the witch doctor staff,
hmm, I guess it
or
doesn't
like the
appear.
fetishes, I guess."
Love a good
Oh.
dangling fetish.
So it looks like there are the other types of spell foci that are in the book. Crystal, orb, rod, staff, or wand. We can call it rod because a rod's kind of short, um, just for a size comparison.
Fear
Rod.
I also decided I wanted to be a girl. I don't want it to be a guy. It's just gonna be a cute little girl goblin.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really affect your stats.
Okay.
Sexy
No,
girl
you're way
goblin.
smarter and stronger.
Yeah, this isn't the fatal system.
No, I just wanted to have these cute little face. So I originally
Oh, well, only
wanted.
male goblins have cute little faces. Girls have stupid, ugly ones.
Those are icky.
I'll give her like she'll
I'm
have like
just
a
kidding.
couple hairs on her head, just a few though.
Oh, it looks like you also automatically start with 2 daggers.
Oh, cool.
So that's an addition to your other stuff. Dagger, 2. Okay.
Also, I just have a question because I'm curious.
Sure.
Is a half goblin a class? Is
They
that
don't
even a
have one,
thing?
but I could
I don't want to
always.
change to it. I just wanted to know if that was a thing.
They don't have a ton of
Want to know for
half
your
classes.
fanfic.
They don't have a ton of half classes or half races in D&D. Um,
Okay. Just the
it's
halfling.
yeah. Well, there's the halfling, half elf, and half orc. Um, it's uh, there's ways to like homebrew new stuff, but that's a little beyond this point. Um, you could probably just say like, oh, I'm more goblin than human or something,
Okay.
but I'm half goblin or something. Um, just first from a statistics standpoint.
Halfling got it on with the goblin.
Uh,
Disgusting.
also have
Same size.
You
Disgusting.
also start with leather armor, so I'm just going to drag that in. If you drag in an armor type from the compendium, it will automatically update your armor class. So now you have 14 armor class because it's for leather armor, it's 11 plus your dexterity. So it's 14 for you now, which
All right.
otherwise it would have just been 11. So
So we're killing it right now.
you are killing it. 43 hit points,
Oh,
14.
I have my inspiration.
Okay. Um, yeah, inspiration is just you either have it or you don't. That's why it's like a weird symbol. It's essentially a glorified checkbox.
Oh, it's okay. It's cool.
It's cool. I'll keep it.
Cool
Um,
looking.
and then you have your choice of a Scholars Pack or a Dungeoneers Pack.
Oh, I think doesn't the Dungeoneers have like the rope and like
Yeah, the Dungeoneers Pack is more rope and like grappling hook and all that sort of stuff. The Scholars Pack is more like pieces of paper, pen and ink, sealing wax, um, stuff like that. They're
no, I want
both,
the Dungeoneers.
yeah, I mean,
I think
it's
that my character would have like rugged, like not like from the earth items, but I think they would be more resourceful and use whatever they have around them versus like fancy things, if that makes sense.
so in the Dungeoneers Pack, if you hit the eye next to it, it'll tell you all the stuff that's in it underneath the description. I don't know why they're all spread out. Backpack, crowbar, hammer, pitons, torches, tinderbox, rations, waterskin, and 50 feet of hempen rope. So we can close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Hell yeah.
that's
Hell yeah.
definitely what I want.
So that just simply gets added to your equipment. You can always separate that out because each of those items can be found in the compendium, but it's also just easy to shove that in. So once you find a weapon that you want, we can add that in, and then we're pretty much done with that. And then I
I want
think
the staff or the quarter staff maybe because I'm
quarterstaff.
small.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't really. Oh, whoops, that's a proficiency. Eh, item. There you go. And also, I just noticed it's been populating your weapons slots where it says attacks and spellcasting. So, if you wanted to make an attack with, say, your dagger, you would go up to where it says dagger and click on it, and then it would roll it in the chat for you. For instance, you rolled a
Is
13
there
and a 9.
any
Yep.
sorry, is there any difference for or any advantage between the slashing and bludgeoning and piercing or
It's mostly a damage type, and it almost never comes up, to be honest.
oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
there's only a few creatures that actually care about whether you're dealing piercing damage, but it's like if it's like fire damage or acid damage. Some things might be resistant to it or vulnerable to it.
Okay.
But like I said, it almost never comes up. It's very rare that it does, and that's kind of one of the things I hate about Fifth Edition is that doesn't come up very often.
All
Um,
right.
so
That's okay.
uh, the last thing to do is make a background. Um, that can maybe come last. I think it'd be more exciting to pick spells now. Um, and we'll fill out all of these abilities and stuff in a bit. But if we go to the spell page, um, so you're a warlock. Things are simultaneously easier and also a bit more confusing for you.
Okay.
Because the warlock is a outlier in the spellcasters. So most people get spells, and they have a certain number of spell slots for each spell level. And as they cast spells that they know using those spell slots, they diminish. When it hits 0, you can't cast any more spells of that level. Um, and you can always use a higher level spell for a lower level spell if you want to. But you, Kyla, as a warlock, you have 2 third-level spell slots. You always cast your spells at the highest level, but you have a lot fewer spell slots. Um, your
So I
spell sl-
always cast at the highest level, but I just can't cast as frequently as other spellcasters. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, yes and no. You have 2 spell slots where other people need to complete a long rest, like an entire day's rest essentially, to get back their spells. You only need a short rest, which is like an hour instead of 8 hours. So you can get back all of your spell slots um, after a short rest. So the thing you're probably going to encounter in the dungeon is like, oh hey, I'm out of spell slots, guys. Do you want to take a rest? Uh,
Okay.
and they might say, "We just rested," or they might say, "Yeah, okay, let's take a rest." Um,
Pretty much where you're a warlock.
yeah, Shane knows. Shane plays a
I know.
warlock. um, so, uh, Allie said she's gonna be right back. To find your spells, um, 5th level. So you know 6 spells and 3 cantrips. Um, do do do. And you have 3 invocations. Okay. Where did my piece of paper go? 3 and 6. Okay. So, um, I guess this is also really weird because we're starting at a higher level. It'd be much easier if it was starting at a lower level, but yeah,
What level are we starting at?
we're starting at level 5. I'm sorry I didn't mention that to
Okay.
you. Um, okay, so if you want the list of warlock spells, it's on page 210.
Okay.
And in addition to that, you can also learn other spells based on your chosen patron. So Archfey, Fiend, or the Great Old One. They give you additional spells that you're allowed to learn in place. Um, so for Warlock spells, you know 3 cantrips, which are otherwise known as 0-level spells, but call them cantrips. And then you can
Okay.
learn 6 other spells up to 3rd level. So you'd probably want 2 first level, 2 second level, and 2 third level, something around that.
Okay. Got it.
But if you want the additional spells that you can learn, those start uh, right back where we were on page 108. And there will be a little table that says the spell level and what spells it gives you available. Those are
Okay.
spells that aren't normally on the Warlock list that it gives you. So
Okay.
it sort of opens it up. But you also have to choose what subclass you're doing. Um, in addition, I'm not allowed to force you to, but it's highly encouraged for the Warlock to take a cantrip called Eldritch Blast because it's only available to the Warlock and it's its highest damage dealing spell.
All right.
It also like overcomes almost all types of damage resistance because it
Well,
deals a special type of damage called force damage.
well, I'm definitely gonna want to do that then because
Sure. So,
When you make a warlock, it's like choose that and agonizing blast as an eldritch thing, and then
yeah.
whatever whatever else you want.
So if you go to the lowercase I, the compendium, and you type in Eldritch Blast, Eldritch, you should find that, and if you drag that into your character sheet, it will give you an Eldritch Blast spell, and it'll already have all the information typed in for you.
let's see.
Oh, you just
Oh,
you just want to go to the lowercase I in the near the chat,
oops, I did the wrong eye.
Story of my life.
in the top right.
Eldritch Blast. Right? I think it's blast.
Yeah, it's Blast.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay.
Boom. I'll delete this one.
Thanks. Okay, so that one's there.
So, if you wanted to cast Eldritch Blast, you would just go over to that, the word Eldritch Blast, and you would just click on it. And it would
Oh,
copy it
cool.
and populate it into the chat. It looks like it doesn't roll the dice for you. Is that? It's weird. I'm gonna fix this. So if you click on the eye, then it'll show you the information for you, like in your character sheet. You click on it, it'll collapse it, uncollapse it. If you click on the gear, you can go in and edit it a little bit. Um, so this is a little thing just for ease of access because it's doing not a spell attack. So we want to output an attack. And then it's a ranged attack. Yes, it is. The damage is 1d10. The type is force. No secondary damage. And yeah, there are different rays, but you can just click it multiple times. Assuming that she's going to take the Agonizing Blast cantrip, I'm going to check off Add Ability Mod to Damage or Healing. Cantrip Progression, Cantrip Beam. Oh, it does it for you. Okay. So Cantrip Beam means that it'll shoot additional beams, which is what
Okay.
this one does. There's no saving throw because it's an attack. Higher level casting, we don't need to worry about that because we put cantrip scaling. Include spell description? No, we don't need to because we know what it does. It shoots a beam of stuff. Then you just hit done, and ba-boom. Collapse that again. Let's try clicking it again. This
There it
time,
is.
it output just a dice roll. And if you want to find out how much damage it does, you click on the word Eldritch Blast in the chat. There you go. So 12 force
What?
damage.
Oh, cool.
And then, did it do it? So, if you wanted to shoot another beam, is that this one at 5th level, I believe it shoots 2 beams. Yeah, it
Do I
does.
click it again?
So you can click it again and then just shoot it again, and that'll. Oh, 2 12s. Neat. So yeah, that's how you do that. And then you can choose 2 more cantrips of your choice. They can be whatever you want from the Warlock list. And then you can
Okay.
choose up to 6 spells that aren't cantrips up to 3rd level. And if you want, you can do that on your own time. Now the
Where's the agonizing one that you guys are talking about?
I'll get to that, but
Okay.
I just want to warn you that not all of the spells from the player's handbook are in the compendium, so you won't be able to drag every single one in. If you do have a
Okay.
problem like that, you can either try and just manually type it in, or just let me know and I'll go in and manually make sure everything's hunky dory. Um,
Okay.
but it should be fairly easy um, to just fill in everything. You can probably look up whatever spell you're looking for online, or just look it up in the PDF I gave you.
Okay.
So that's just a warning. So it's not if you like look up Ray of Sickness, which I know isn't in there, then it won't be in there, and then you won't be like, oh shit, did I do something wrong? No, it's not from the SRD. It's not one of the spells that Wizards wants to give you, so it's not there. Um,
Okay.
so the so you can pick spells and stuff all on your own. I won't handhold you through that because you can just kind of choose what's cool, like what you think would be cool for your character to have. Um,
Yeah.
Otherwise, the last thing for warlocks is you have 3 invocations known. I guess this isn't the last thing. We still have the other features to do. Um, an Eldritch invocation is a special ability that you have, and it's chosen from a whole list of abilities. You can find those starting on page 110. So it's still like in that big warlock description. Um, the very first one is called Agonizing Blast. And it says whenever you cast Eldritch Blast, you add your charisma modifier to the damage that it deals on a hit.
Oh, wow. And mine's like super high.
Yeah, so that's why
Okay.
it's almost mandatory to choose. And honestly, I don't know why Wizards just didn't give it to like why the company didn't just design the class to already have this feature added. Um,
All right. Well, I definitely want that.
okay, you have 3, so you can choose 2 more from any of these things as long as you meet the prerequisites. Um, but once again, that's probably something that you want to do on your
On your
own.
own time. Okay.
Just make sure you meet the prerequisites. And some of those prerequisites are based on the other thing I'm about to show you. Um, so when you first gain your warlock abilities, you get to pick an otherworldly patron. So I'm going to ask you, what is your eldritch patron going to be? You have
Mm,
3 options, at least in this base book, but it didn't seem like you were interested in the ones in the other book. We have the Archfey, the Fiend, and the Great
oh
Old
yeah.
One. This is an eldritch entity that has come to you and given you your powers, usually in exchange for a pact or a price. There is,
Archdemon.
yeah, you've pretty much made a deal with not necessarily a devil, unless you choose the fiend, but you've made a deal with a powerful being to gain your magic. Whereas the wizards studied hard to get A's on their test, and the sorcerer is just innately talented at getting A's on their test, you cheated off of them and just got the right answers anyway. That's
No,
Um,
got the right answers because fucking God gave you the answers.
yeah,
Or
sure.
it's like, God damn it, teacher's like sitting there like whispering you the right one so that you can make sure you pass the test.
I was just trying to explain it in a way that like
Jader.
you
Jader.
you basically
Jader.
got your spells without studying and
Come
without
get
being
it.
innately talented. You just prayed to a
Ouch.
demon and said, "Hey, can I have super magic powers? I'll do anything you want. You can have my soul." And they gave it to you.
That was
Um,
lucky.
I just feel like if I want to go with my witch doctor theme, I feel like they would probably do some sort of dirty deal with the devil. But
Do you want to know maybe like what their mechanics are like?
yeah,
So the
I would.
Archfey is I'm just going in order here. The Archfey is more about trickery and illusion magic. For instance, they get like Phantasmal Force, which is an illusion. They get Sleep, which puts people to sleep, as well as Blink and Plant Growth, stuff like that. They're a tricky sort
Someone
of
cast
class.
sleep on me.
Um, yeah, Ben, I don't need to cast Sleep on you. Um,
No.
the
Good one.
the Fiend gets fire spells. They can also heal themselves when they kill people. Um, but it's largely about like it's a very blasty class. It just deals damage, makes sure that they're protected, um, and that's pretty much it. The Great Old One is uh, it's more of a psychic class that affects people's minds. It enchants people. It drives them to madness. Can detect their thoughts. You can communicate telepathically with people. You can defend yourself by imposing disadvantage on people with an entropic ward. Stuff like that. It's so if we
So I could cause minor, like, not, it's not disadvantage that I'm thinking of. Shoot, minor inconvenience. I can cause minor inconveniences on people.
um trying to think. Uh, it's more the spells themselves um affect people's minds, and it's in a bigger way, kind of. Uh, just because of the nature of your spells getting always cast at the most powerful.
All right. Well, if I want to do more physical harm than mental harm,
Then that would probably be more the fiend, because the fiend is all about blasting things with fire.
what about poison?
So that is an option that I can give to you if you accept it.
Do you
Am,
accept?
am I making a deal with the devil?
Well, I'm the dungeon master, but
The dungeon
So
devil?
yes.
Dungeon Devil.
the dungeon devil. Um, I
I
can
want
I can
some
give you your own
toads.
personal list if you want.
I mean,
I
it should
want
be just like poison
Are you gonna
flavor.
go into
I
the
want
slime section?
I want poison frogs.
Okay,
Get a jar of bees.
A poison frog companion.
I'll
Just a
make
little
you
fat frog.
I'll make you your own list then.
Oh no, a
Okay.
little cat frog.
So for now, I guess assume that you're maybe um, like in case of prerequisites and stuff, just assume that you're the archfey, I guess.
Okay.
And then I'll make a spell list and subclass for you. Cute and personal. Um, so you can pick your own invocations on your own. I'm gonna make you your own subclass. Um,
Poison.
last thing is the oh, actually, there's a Pact Boon. You get another choice as a warlock. You get lots of choices as a warlock.
Oh
Um,
boy.
the other thing is what your patron has given to you as your boon besides your magical abilities. There's the Pact of the Chain, which gives you an improved familiar. There's Pact of the Blade, which gives you an improved magic weapon. And then there's the Pact of the Tome, which gives you improved more magic spells.
Like more spell slot.
It gives you additional cantrips. Um, yeah, it
We know
gives
you
you
want that improved poison frog.
it gives you like 3 extra cantrips. However, if you do the Pact of the Chain, you do get
With the familiar.
an improved familiar. You can get an imp, a pseudo dragon, a quasit, or a sprite. The
Poison frog.
the quasit is a type of demon, but we can easily probably get you something that's been reflavored because the imp deals poison damage. So does the
She's
quasit,
not
I
gonna
think.
eat it, you nasty.
What?
She's not gonna eat it. The flavor doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry. Uh, by flavor, I mean the theme, or uh, like the theme of the
I know
thing.
that. I
I know,
wasn't being
but for
boy.
it brought up a good point. I use that terminology not knowing that some people don't know what it is.
I do it all the time too.
Another term is like fluff. It's something that doesn't matter, but it makes it look nice.
hmm
Okay.
Like it doesn't affect the mechanics. It's the fluff. It's the flavor of
But
the
it's
ability.
glowy or it's purple.
Yeah. Um. So Pact of the Chain gives you an improved familiar, blade or tome.
Well, I think I definitely want the improved familiar especially if it can help with attacks.
Okay. So we'll do Back to the Chain. Cool. So I can probably fill out a lot of this. Since we're apparently doing homebrews now, um, I can definitely
Oh.
fill out a lot of this stuff. But definitely make your own spell choices,
Yep.
invocation choices. You automatically learn the Find Familiar spell because of the pact, and you can cast it as a ritual. It doesn't count against your number of spells known. Um, and yeah, your familiar can also attack. Normally, it can't attack. Is the sort of thing. So I'm gonna drag in Find Familiar. Yes. Boink. So now you know Find Familiar as a spell. That's in addition to your spells. So that doesn't count towards the 6 that you can pick.
Okay.
Now, this should be the last thing for the Warlock. I know I've said that several times and I've been wrong. Um, an ability score improvement. You get that at level 4. So you
Okay.
can increase one of your abilities by 2, or increase 2 of your abilities by 1. These are the strength, dexterity, constitution, all that stuff.
I mean, putting them both in Constitution sounds pretty tasty.
I will say that if you increase your charisma by 1, it will also go bring the modifier
Ah.
up by 1.
Mm.
Because every
And that's the only one that'll bump up.
strength and intelligence will also bump up by 1 if you increase it by 1, because it increases at every even level.
Ooh. Oh. Hold on, let me flip back to the front. Oh my god, patient, help me. Um, what I was trying to look up was intelligence again. Oh, intelligence. Info and okay. Recall info and puzzles. Well, I think I think that I want to do the charisma then, and I want to do the strength.
Okay. Strong ass goblin.
This is an update. Is 10:30 in case you want to get.
No, right now
specific.
I'm not sleepy right now.
I'm telling Chris.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
You're good. You're the one getting the help. I'm just trying to make sure Chris is like. He
yeah,
knows.
I'm
Or
aware.
Pat. My Pat.
I've been dragging you through a lot of the character creation, and I think I've left you at a spot where you can do most of it, most of the rest on your own. And also simultaneously been showing everybody else kind of how to use the character sheet, and also a bit of how to play.
One of the questions I do have that wasn't clear to me was the Eldritch invocations. I
Yep.
have two more to pick. Are those are separate from the 6 spells and the 3 cantrips, right?
Yes, those are found
Okay.
on page 110.
Okay.
Those are just special abilities. You would probably put those down like where I put dark vision,
Okay.
and just like write them in, and just put the source as class, and then maybe Eldritch Invocation. Um, but you'll see like some of them have prerequisites based on level. So you're level 5. Some of them are like you need to know the Eldritch Blast cantrip. Some of them are you need to have the Pact of the Chain, which you do. Some of them might require that you need the Pact of the Tome, which you don't. So it's also important to sort of
Does
know that.
the program recognize those inconsistencies? Like if you try to
No.
add a spell that you don't have the prerequisite, it wouldn't let you add it?
No, it isn't that smart.
Okay.
Also, these
Okay.
are manually added. These cannot be dragged in from the compendium.
Okay.
Um, so I'll put right now that you have Agonizing Blast, and I won't fill out the other stuff for this, but I'll at least fill in the titles of like the features that you have, like Pact of the Chain class. Change this to class and put invocation. God bless you, Allie. She sneezed from the other room. Actually, that's like weirdly it. Oh, there's more goblin stuff too. Just for my own reference. Fury of the Small Racial Goblin. Nimble Escape. Racial Goblin. That's it for goblin traits. And those can be typed in.
Okay.
I'll type those in later. But these are all the features that you have so far. You should get 2 more invocations. And you also have a feature called spellcasting, but that's sort of like we kind of know what that does. If you need to reorder these, by the way, you can hit the little lock icon. And
Oh, and drag and drop.
yeah, you hit the 3 lines, and then you can drag things around.
Okay.
And then you just hit the lock again when you're done. Hitting the red button will delete that feature, so that's one that you don't want to hit. Unless you've mistakenly put something there that you didn't want to.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a lot of stuff. Oh, we still have a background. Frick! So, last thing. This should.
So he says.
So he says so these begin on page 127, and there's a whole bunch of them. You can pick whatever one that fits your choice. There's this is lore-wise. This is what you were before you became an adventurer.
Okay.
And it gives you like a feature, and it gives you some skill proficiencies, languages, and equipment, stuff like that. Just a bunch of bonus stuff that you would have had from your background. There's the acolyte, the charlatan, the criminal, the entertainer, the folk hero, the guild artisan, the hermit, which might be good for you, noble, the outlander, which also might be good for you, the sage, which is more of a researcher, the
Acolyte might
sailor,
be good.
the acolyte might be good too, um, the soldier, and the urchin are the different ones here. The hermit gives you medicine and religion as skill proficiencies. The outlander gives you athletics and survival. Oh, I guess that one's not that great for you. What's one that gives nature and medicine? I'm sure there is one.
Outlander, I think.
No, I just did that one.
Mm,
I guess maybe there isn't one.
I just tried to scroll through, but I didn't see any that. Sage is Arcana and History, but hello, is everybody there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It like went super quiet. I was like,
I
oh
think the hermit might still
no.
be the best choice. Just because it gives medicine, which is witch doctory. It also gives you proficiency in an herbalism kit, and then also a free language.
Oh, I need a quiet place to work on my art, literature, music, or manifesto. Same.
Same. Same.
All those tables that you see, those are just if you randomly want to roll for your like personality and stuff. You can find those like that. What those are trying to fill in is in the top right of your character sheet, where it says personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. So
Okay.
your personality traits are like your personality traits. I don't know how else to explain that.
Can
Your
you explain personality to me?
sure, anything other than Ben. Um,
Oh, ow!
so besides personality trait, um, your ideal is what your character most believes in. Your bond is something that ties you to the game world, like a family, a guild, a personal vendetta, something like that.
A lover.
A lover. Um, and then the last thing is a flaw, which is just a character flaw, like something that actively works against you and your goals.
Can you have multiple of each of those, or is it just like one main trait for each of those things?
I
Or like
mean,
one main thing?
some of them might work against each other, so you might just want to watch out for that. But otherwise, it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
like if you had two character flaws instead of one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
As
okay.
long as it's not like I'm too greedy and also I'm too charitable.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
Okay.
schizophrenic.
Um, but yeah,
You can't tell me
you don't
that now
have
because
to
I don't know how to read.
you don't have to choose from those if you don't want to. Those are kind of just suggestions, and then it just gives you a dice so you can randomly choose one. It also tends
Okay.
to give them in the form of a statement, but you don't have to do that either. You could just say personality traits, brave, or something.
Okay.
So you can do whatever you want for that. That's mostly for you and how you want to play your character. Um,
Okay.
and if you wanted to choose the hermit, you would
I
just
do.
put in, you'd check off medicine and religion in your skills because you're now proficient in those.
All right.
And then herbalism kit, you can go to the compendium and
All
drag that in.
right.
Just look up herb and it'll probably autofill.
Herbert.
Proficiency.
Yep, drag that in and it should show up. Yep,
All
it
right.
did.
This.
And then you can learn one language. So I think if you maybe it'll do it.
Am I
Language.
assuming that I'm able to communicate with all of my party members, or are there ones that I should be
Everybody
thinking
knows
about?
common.
Okay.
The rapper.
Yeah, sure.
We're best friends.
It looks like it doesn't have just a thing. I was hoping it would just have a thing for languages, but it just has the spell for. Oh wait, maybe if I just put in language. Damn it. Okay, well, there's a bunch of languages. You can pick one if you want. There's like Elven, Dwarvish, um, Gnomish, Halfling is one. You already know Goblin. Uh, there's also exotic ones like Abyssal and Infernal. Um, if you want those, they're right at the beginning of the background section. Uh, on page 123. There's a list of
So
yeah.
the life of seclusion
Yep.
part, the thing that's confusing me about that is that where would that go, since that looks like reason for seclusion is separate
That one
from
doesn't
how it ties me to the
that
game.
one doesn't go anywhere. That's just
Okay.
for you personally.
Oh, okay.
It's just to help you, like,
Okay.
you're a hermit, yes, you lived a life of seclusion, but now you're traveling with an adventuring party. Why did you stop being secluded?
Okay, okay.
So that should be it. Waiting patiently for something else to pop out at me. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
Okay, so that's your character sheet. Ta-da! There was a lot of explaining there. It gets faster with time and knowledge. We were both explaining how to play D&D, but also how to use Roll20. So it was a hefty bit of a segment there, and all with no music because Roll20 sucks with music player.
Boo.
We had the music of
Boo.
your voice.
Yes, my voice, which commonly puts people to sleep. I found. Um,
Go to sleep, little baby.
So if you guys, the other thing that I was gonna say, send me your character images that you want. You can either draw it uh, or just find one online that you like. Something that's high definition with a good headshot, and then I can get that for you, and I can create a token, like say, um, find a goblin. Do I have any Pathfindery looking ones? Not really, but we got a goblin. There he is.
Is that the one that you're using, Allie?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if I think I only need like 9,000 more things on your stream, and then once I get 50,000, then you can draw me my my sketch for Wednesday.
Been bumped up, but I'll save a 50,000 spot especially for you.
Nice. Yeah, Allie creates art, and she has a lot of rewards for that sort of thing. You can find her at Allie Briggs Art.
But you can't
I've
redeem
been
any
watching Allie for a couple of weeks now, but now I'm gonna have 50,000 points, and then she's gonna draw me a little character sketch for 30 minutes.
Nice.
Mhm.
Remember,
I already
you
I already
only
have a sketch, but Allie's is gonna look way better than mine.
don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
Considering that you thought the picture I sent you was like a sad carrot or something, I was like, nope, this is fan art from your book of like a
sad.
turnip.
No, I knew it was, but it was sad, so I was making a joke that it was an onion.
Trying to be
Oh.
funny, Kyla.
I knew what it
Have
was.
heard.
I'm
Oh,
not
I thought you were
daft.
like, "Aw, that's so nice. You tried."
Now you have to figure out a name for your character.
Oh
I
yeah,
That's
know.
part of all.
I know. I gotta
definitely
think
just
about
come up
that.
with your own names. I don't control that, obvi.
Mine's a chat created characters. This is perfect.
So here it
I mean,
is.
you can still change it.
Um,
I like baby blue.
You could
so
change
if you
it.
guys want, you can hang out, but I think I'm gonna maybe do a little more Roll20 stuff for people. And if you want to just hang out and make your characters, that's fine too. Because I'll be here to answer any questions that you have. Does
I
that
am
sound
gonna
good?
be working on my character right now,
Okay.
but I have the book.
Yeah, that's fine.
I still need to figure out what we're gonna do. If it's gonna be a gunslinger, if we're gonna do the arcane. Wow, I can't remember. Arcane archer or just normal ranger.
Well,
Like thought.
now you kind of know what the party comp is. Well, actually, we don't. We know we have a druid. We know we have a warlock. Both of them seem to be nature oriented.
Who's the
So
druid?
what?
Who's the druid?
Aren't you a druid?
No.
No.
What?
Just kidding.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It was a good joke, I guess. Also,
Marshall wants to know how you do scripts in Roll20.
oh yeah, I
Hi,
was gonna
Jane,
kind of
Marshall.
get into that.
Subscribe to Patreon.
Subscribe to my Patreon. I do have a Patreon. But anyway, if you wanted to help figuring that out, we have two nature-oriented people that are both spellcasters. So I would probably lean towards doing like a fighter build, but you could still do a ranger build and just have a very nature-oriented, nature-heavy class. Not class, party. Um, but even then, the ranger doesn't need to focus in nature if you don't want to build it that way.
Fighter be good. I'm just trying to think, like, if you were to figure out like a Western equivalent kind of uh like melee, what would that be?
In melee, I mean, you can play a ranged
Testing,
character
testing.
with fighters.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
There
can
we
hear
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Shane. Have you been talking this whole time?
No. He dropped out.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my god.
Jeez, yeah. It's,
Everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
no.
Um,
Mic issues.
So,
Shut up, Ben.
Allie, do you have the Xanathar's guide with you?
You.
Um, under fighters, you can find the Arcane Archer. What the Arcane Archer does is, I think it's every short rest, but they get like two special shots of their arrow. That they magically infuse one of their arrows, and it'll be like, boom! This is like a buster shot right here. So it's kind of gunslinger feely, because you're like, all right, guys, I'm loading my big blunderbuss right now, and then you like take aim, and then krakow, and it deals a whole bunch of extra damage. Um, and you kind of get them back like warlock spell slots, but I
Oh
might be
man,
wrong about that.
The only
I could have been
melee
named Crocodile Dundee.
Western I could think of was like axes and knives.
Yeah,
I was
tomahawk.
thinking,
Tomahawk.
oh Tomahawk,
Like
yeah.
you're kind of Native American influence or something.
I love that. Well, because like so the whole thing with blue dragons, apparently their native territory is in the desert. So
Yep,
yeah,
That's cool.
I know.
I know.
And that's why I said it.
No, I learned about them like a couple weeks ago, and they're fucking horrifying. Blue dragons are the worst of them all.
Dragons are very interesting when you get into like how each one is specific, like to its color. Um,
Racist.
listen, bud. Each one has its own like personality in general, and obviously they're
Which
not
one of them
tied.
commits more crimes, Chris?
Well, the black dragon because
Oh my god!
it has
Banned
acid
from
breath.
Twitch.
No, the white dragon's also the stupidest one. So, um,
Oh, story checks out.
yeah, so it
Still
checks out.
extremely intelligent, can cast magic, but is the stupidest of the dragons.
They're more likely to protest during a
Yeah,
protest.
they have like a max
Oh.
intelligence of like 18, which is like the highest
Big
among
firm.
mortals, but like low among dragons.
Hmm.
Anywho,
Yikes.
so that's my bit of help for you. Shane, I know you left for a long time. Have you
What?
decided what sort of character you wanted to play? We have a
I'm thinking
oh,
Forge Cleric.
Warforged cleric.
Forge.
Oh,
A Forge
Forge
Cleric
cleric.
from the
Um,
Pharaoh's Guide.
yeah, that's fine. Um, Forge clerics are really neat. I like them. Uh, what species you thinking?
Probably just a variant human.
Variant human. Got it. Um,
Variant human.
that's
What have
fine.
you done to Shane? He's a total nerd now. Variant human? Nobody fucking. I mean,
That's just how
he.
nerds be. Hey,
He would
what are you
never.
what are you some kind of person? Actually, I'm a variant person.
I'm actually a variant human being. Actually,
I took a feat for
Actually,
sharpshooter.
I'm gonna be a forge
ooh,
paladin. Variant human. I will cast intimidating shout.
Nice. So that seems to be our party here, and of course we will have a patron coming in probably in a few sessions. I still have to choose them, and then they're going to be doing pre-gen characters because, as you can see, creating characters is a large, arduous effort sometimes. Um,
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
it isn't that bad, but if you're new or new to Roll20, it can be difficult, and taking somebody through that every single time can be difficult. So the patrons will be playing pre-gen characters, but each one can get a different one, and they can probably just ask me, and I'll like get them what they want. Like, oh, I want to be this race, this class, and that's probably as far as you're gonna get out of me. Just taking a little
I'm
sippy of
doing my
water.
character sheet next, right?
Oh yeah, Abby. Um, how far are you?
Not very far.
Pick your
I was
character.
just.
Oh
I
wait,
was kidding,
that's
but also there's
Allie.
things that I don't know.
There's things that you don't know. What don't you know?
Believe it or not.
how to play D&D.
Oh
How to play?
fuck.
Yeah, I was how to play D&D. What is the D and the D?
Um, the dinkle and the dongle.
Oh, of course. How could I be so stupid?
Do you have the information for the Warforged race?
Yeah, somewhere.
It's in
I
the
definitely
Eberron
downloaded it.
book. If we aren't
Yeah,
using the UA version, which is the
is
Unearthed
that the
Arcana version.
we aren't using that?
No.
Oh, what
Is that
about
what you were
one?
using?
No, no. I
Okay,
was using the Eberron book.
obviously. Um,
Obviously. What am I, some kind of noob?
so it looks like what you need is hit points, items, and more of your proficiencies and your traits,
Right,
and presumably your spells.
right. Yeah, I just didn't start anything really.
Okay. I can definitely help you through that, but I might want to do that um, off
We can do
stream,
that later.
just
That's
because
fine.
I've taken some people through like one whole character sheet, if
I'm
that's okay
gonna,
with you.
yeah, I'm gonna be doing that while you do whatever else you were gonna do, and
Yeah,
then we
that's
can
fine.
finish
And
up.
if you have any questions, you can just ping me or something.
Yep,
Um,
hold my hand.
so I'm gonna take you guys through creating a monster token, because that's another thing that we can do, and this is also sort of related to creating a Sorry, I've got a lot of phlegm going on. Hope I don't have that
Phlegmy boogers.
that
Oh,
thing that
don't
everybody's
you
getting.
fucking dare.
Whoa!
Somebody in my office got it, so she's paranoid right now.
Hmm.
Got the COVID?
Yeah, of like 10 people.
Holy shit!
That
That's
wasn't confirmed.
It wasn't completely confirmed, but he seems to have a upper respiratory virus. So like
Ooh.
do not like.
he got tested, but he didn't get results back even though he was supposed to get them back within like 48 hours. So,
Nobody liked that.
yeah, that's unusual. Nobody liked that.
Nobody
Um
liked that.
So, in order to go through the whole process, you would want to upload a token. You can find tokens online. If you purchase some of the stuff here on Roll20, you can find it as well. Some people like these. Let's see if I can find one just by searching Goblin. Some people like these top-down sort of ones, like this. Um, People will take that as like a token, but I prefer the rounded ones because we're already doing abstract stuff here in D&D, so I'm okay with just seeing more of the portrait rather than the whole figure. And it's less drawing if I'm drawing something. I have on my Patreon, you can find these token borders, so you can kind of put those on your own images if you want them. I believe you need to be a patron to find that thing, though. So once you have your image, you can, as long as you're not searching for anything, go to upload. It'll say upload files. You can drag in from your computer or choose file and search for it. Once it shows up in your recent uploads. This is your total library of stuff. If you take this and you drag it into your folders, it'll help you organize them. If you click on one of your folders, it brings it up, and it's kind of easier to drag them in that way. Once you have that, if you drag stuff into your folders, it'll still be in your recent uploads unless you hit this thing that filters out items that are already in your library. So if I click this, it'll bring back everything that I've ever uploaded. If I get rid of it, it'll make things a bit easier for me. So when you find something, like I have monsters, I can just click and drag them in, and I guess it'll take a second. There you go, it made 2 of them. Sometimes Roll20 is laggy. You can resize it a la so, and rotate it like that. And each token, oh, that's another important thing. This is for everybody. You can ping in Roll20, like as if you were playing League of Legends or something, by clicking and holding, and it'll ping in your color. And you can change your color via the gear in the top right. Somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there. Oh fuck, I should probably just, so we're gonna do a mini side tutorial. I know this is out of order. So is everybody still on?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just
Okay.
working on my
Uh,
sheet.
so besides the pinging and stuff on this, you can also, there's a ruler tool on the side, the left side of the screen where all those little toolbars are. The one that's a
Yeah.
circle with a ruler coming out of it. If you do that and you click and drag, it'll show an arrow that shows you how many feet something is. Right now, there's no grid technically, so it's a little off and it's not really snapping to anything. But if the grid was enabled, and actually I might be able to do that. There we go. I turned the grid off because it was like a splash screen. But if the grid is on, it'll snap to the grid centers. It'll snap to every 5 feet. So if you're like, oh, this dragon's going to move 30 feet, you can drag that out. If you want to go back, it's important to go back to the select tool at the top, because otherwise you can't select stuff. If you have the grid enabled, tokens will also snap to the grid, as well as scale to the grid. This one is actually a small token, so I made it smaller, so that when it snaps, it is like in the center instead of at the edges. There's also the zoom. You can zoom using the zoom tool on the left or the zoom tool on the right, or by using the mouse wheel and Alt. Yes, and Alt. You can change that in the gears as well, in the gear settings. You can also draw. I'm going to regret showing you guys this immediately, but there's a draw tool where you can either draw a square. If you hold Alt, it draws an ellipse. If you hold down Shift, it'll snap to the grid. You can, I'll just get this out of the way, I guess. There you go. Now you got it out of the way. Um, you can also do freehand with the polygon tool, and
Why are you
it'll.
being so disgusting, Chris? It was highly inappropriate.
If you use the polygon tool and you go back to where you started from, it'll close the polygon so that you can move that around. You can use the arrow key or the uh, select and move key to grab these arts and move them around, or if necessary, delete them. Sometimes they're a bit tricky to grab, so it's best to use the marquee tool sometimes. Works with tablets. Tablets. Gotcha.
A
Um,
tablet?
works with
Is it like a female
tablets.
tablet?
Uh, okay.
It's a tablet?
Tableau. Cannot delete another person's lines. Yeah, you can't delete another person's lines unless you're the DM. Then you can override that.
The
There is a
power of
freehand tool which you
unreleased.
just saw Kyla using. I just assumed that was Allie because it was the tablet. Um, but yep, that's Kyla.
Hey.
um, let's see. Uh,
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Also, this
Oh
little
God, what's
clock
going
here
on?
brings up the initiative for when we actually get into combat, but that'll be another day when we figure that out. Then there's the dice tool. We already figured that out. Okay, you guys can stop paying attention if you want to. I just wanted to like
Way
kind
ahead of you.
of way ahead of you.
Am I right, guys?
I just wanted to like point out that that stuff was there. So there's a lot of tools for when we actually get into playing. Um, for me, because I'm a pro subscriber, I also have this super
Brag
special.
much.
I'm a pro
I have
subscriber.
I have the authority to use these what are they called? Special effects. There's a lot of properties and stuff, but basically, come on, you gonna do this to me right
Well, it
now?
looks like a unicorn butthole.
Kind of. I'm assuming that you're able to see it. Oh, I know what I need to do. I
Yeah,
need to
that's pretty cool.
I need to enable it.
I saw it.
I didn't though. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
we've not been doing that either. You can also enable the 3D dice in the gear. It makes it a bit laggier for yourself, but I personally like it. Enable animated graphics. See, it should be enabled. I should be able to see it. But maybe Roll20 is just being a butt right now. It'll probably show up like in 10 years or something. And then I'll be able to brag once it shows up. Otherwise, the 3D dice look like this. Let's roll 2d20s. Boom. It rolls them. It shows up in the chat. It does the same if you roll a ton of dice. Beautiful. And if you click the screen, they go away. Wow, very, very nice anarchy symbol. Other things. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff in Roll20 to go over. So I guess for your all's benefits, there's a tool up here for DMs. This little tab that says Page Toolbar. You can create a new page. Get that character sheet out of here. This flag shows where the players are. This gear shows the page's settings. That's where I went to update things like enabling the grid, the opacity for the GM, that show like how opacity or how transparent the grid is. Fog of War, you don't want to touch this stuff really because they've changed those settings. It's in here. So if you wanted dynamic lighting, you'd enable it. And then there's a bunch of other things. Explorer mode will reveal things as people see it. Daylight mode will reveal the whole map, but just enforce line of sight. I'll kind of show you that in a bit. You can also change the page's size with these little things. It has a pixel width that's very precise. So you don't want to change it by that, you want to change it by this. But this will tell you what size your images need to be if you want to perfectly cover this grid. So you can hit OK. I'm going to go over, I'm going to leave them behind. They can't see this, but I have moved over onto another map. It's taking a bit to load because it's a large image and because it has dynamic lighting. So I'm going to move in, I'll drag in a Kyla token. It has made,
Hey,
it's fine, you can't see any of
Hey.
this. Um, so the Kyla token is done to the default person silhouette. As a token on this layer, this is the objects layer we're on. You can double click on it and it'll bring up the token properties. This is the journal character that it's tied to. It's tied to Kyla. Um, this is the thing's name. You can change that independently of this. You can
Alright, what's the thing's name?
Sorry, I'm pointing to stuff on the Twitch chat. Um, you guys can't see anything I'm doing unless you like go there. If you wanted to show the nameplate, you would hit show nameplate, but that won't show it for anybody but you and the person that controls it. Otherwise, you can go to the advanced tab and hit C, and then people will be able to see the name tag once you hit OK. So Kyla shows up there, and other people can see that. Just as well, if you want to, this is for player characters usually, there's 3 bars that you can have. You can populate these manually, but if you have a character sheet, I can go here and go to HP, which is conveniently just HP, and it'll put the maximum at 43 because it's 43 in her character sheet. It's looking for that value, HP. So I can put that at 43. Now her bar 1, I'll set it so that people can see it, should appear there, and it does. So now she can see that, and other people can see that. She has a health bar. That's how you set up that health bar. There's also auras that you can do. If they, say, have a 10-foot aura, now it shows an aura. You can change that thing's color. You can turn it into a square. If you want to get rid of the aura, you don't put 0, you just delete it. It's another little finicky thing. For dynamic lighting, I did enable dynamic lighting on this page. So in order to enable it for a character, you need to have their token have dynamic lighting enabled. Go to Vision. You check this off if they have night vision. And bright light. This is if they have a torch or something. You could say the token emits light. Another trick people do is make a torch token. That's why Allie was a torch at the beginning of this, because that's one of the tokens that I have in the journals. They can drag in that and it'll emit light. And if something does emit light, you usually want the players to, if you want them to be able to see, you would say, oh yes, this person emits light out to 40 feet, and then another 20 feet of dim light beyond that. It'll show you the total light. So now you can see this person has some light and they can see. So it's lighting up where this person moves in this tavern. And you can see that there's like a little bit of a artifacting kind of going on here. That's the dynamic lighting trying to figure things out. So we can increase the GM opacity. Yes. So this is what the Kyla token, or people that are in control of the Kyla token, can see. That is, that is what they can see. You can see.
No one controls the avatar.
So where it's black, it's invisible to them. They don't have line of sight of that. Where it's gray, that has been explored, because I kind of moved the token over there a bit, and then moved it back. That has been explored, but it is not visible in their line of sight. So look, I've explored this, but this area beyond them is grayed out, because that is dim to them.
Oh, that's how that works. I see.
Oh, are you looking on the Twitch chat?
Yeah, I've had you on Twitch.
Oh, nice. But yeah, this is what the dynamic lighting is going to look like once they're in game. And the way that this is set up is via a special layer. I'm going to go through all the layers now. So there's 3 layers you have. Oh, I should also mention dynamic lighting is a plus or pro feature. Um, it's not a normal thing that you can have. Um, and normally there's 3 layers that you can work with unless you're a pro subscriber. Then there's or plus or pro. Then there's dynamic lighting layer. Um, the map and background
So you
layer.
sponsored by Roll20?
No, I'm just letting people know because it's not a
Oh,
common
just yeah, I have to
feature.
disclose it.
I'm going to turn the opacity down on this page so I can see again. There's a reason for GM opacity. So the map layer is this layer. I can move this around, undo that, so it's back and aligned. Sometimes it's a pain to align things, but sometimes you can just eyeball it. They also have a tool for aligning stuff, which works sometimes. Depends on how well the map was made. If you drag stuff in here, if people cannot interact with anything on the map layer unless they are on the map layer, but players don't have access to the map layer. Um, so it's useful if you want to put something down that you don't want players to like be able to interact with, or something that you don't want to accidentally grab when you're interacting with tokens. Like you don't want to be on the object layer trying to move around the tokens and then oh, you accidentally grabbed the map and dragged it all over the place. Um, the object layer is the one we've been on most of the time. It's where you put your tokens. If something has a bar of health or a name tag, it will only appear if it's on this layer or the next layer, which is the GM info overlay. This is a layer that is invisible to the players but visible to the GM. It shows up as like translucent, so players can't see, like this Kyla token can't see that there's a gigantic dragon hidden somewhere in this tavern. Um, if you want to reveal it, you would have to move it to a new layer. You can either do that by right-clicking and it'll move the token to the layer that you want, or there's hotkeys that I use that make things a lot easier. Control M, Control K, and Control O will switch what layer you're on. Control Shift and then MKO will take the token that you're selecting and move it to a new layer. M is map, K is the GM layer, and O is the object layer. So I'm going to Control Shift O, and this puts this on the object layer. So now it's moving around and stuff. And then I can delete that. The last layer is the dynamic lighting layer, and this shows what I have done to the yawning portal. I've used the drawing tool to create shapes, and I've changed their colors just for my own purposes. But I've made a random shape there. So if I go to the object layer, select tool, that is now, you can see that there's a faded out area. That person can't see through that object. And if you hit Control L, you can see what that token can see, which is very useful if you're trying to test something out and make sure that something's working the way you want it to. Sometimes when you're doing the dynamic lighting, stuff can seep through the cracks if things aren't lined up totally perfectly. So what I've done here, oh yeah, you can see there's a little crack up there too. So what I've done is I usually have one color for the walls, and then I have another color, and I use a thicker line weight for the doors because it makes it easier to select them. But if I wanted to open a door, say, I would just go like that, and you can leave it there like in existence, or you can just delete it. So now that person can go through that door. There's options that allow you to enable people to move through these walls, but I usually don't have that selected because I don't want people accidentally jumping over the line of sight walls and possibly seeing something they're not supposed to. Um, oh, not okay. There we go. Cool, cool. It's weird that it's not updating. Anyway, figure that out later. So that's kind of how that works with the lighting and stuff. Man, it's getting late. Let's go back and see what they're doing on the landing page. Of course. Thanks, everyone.
Whatever.
Madness has struck.
No titties on Twitch. You fools.
Those aren't boobs.
They were what, Allie? Nobody can hear you.
Nipple pasties.
There you go.
What were they?
Pasties.
One more time.
Nipples.
Thanks.
Hashtag free the nipple.
Free the
We
nip.
got a nipple. You can literally put a fucking pepperoni on a nipple, and it's like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. Could look the same. Never know.
It was a pepperoni.
So, let's take a character that we want to turn into a monster. This goblin token. So you've dragged in this token. It's on the object layer. Now there are easy ways to do some of these. So you're going to create a character. You can do that from here, and then character. It'll create one of these random named things. Go to the character sheet, and instead of Charactermancer or editing the sheet, you're going to create an NPC. It makes a new different page where you can edit in everything willy-nilly. Like just do it all on your own. Some things will automatically populate. Like if it's CR2, it'll tell you, oh, it's 450 XP. You have to check off spellcasting NPC and do all these things, and it'll empty it with spell slots. You can drag in spells just like you could with a normal character. You have to tell it that it has reactions, and it'll put a reaction thing in here. You give it a trait, you can type that in, delete it. Legendary actions, this one's a little weird. You have to put in how many legendary actions it has, and then it'll put that in there. And this doesn't really matter because we're making a goblin, and goblins are SRD, so you can go to the compendium, type in, spelled it wrong, type in goblin, go to monsters, goblin, and drag it in. And it just filled it out for you. And that is one of the very magical things about Roll20. We're going to go to edit, change its name to goblin, put it in my journal. We're going to give it a default token. We'll give it this default image. This will pop in whenever you drag in the journal, but we're also going to use this, which is the default token, but we need to set it up first. So we're going to do that. So we have everything here almost set. We're going to take this token, we're going to set its hit points to 7. Don't want to tie it to an attribute, because if you tie it to the goblin tokens journal, and you like give it 7 hit points, and it's tied to this thing's hit points in the journal, if you subtract, like 1 takes 4 damage, you subtract 4 from it, it'll subtract 4 from every single goblin that's on the battlefield, like right now. So what you want to do is just manually type in this has 7 hit points, 7 out of 7. You also want to tie it to the character, or to the journal, which you can do just by typing it in. And ba-boom, it exists. Show nameplate, name, bar if you want people to see the bar, and save changes. That's a goblin. And now, if you go back to edit, you can hit use selected token as the default token, and it'll already have the HP, it'll already have the nameplate, it'll already have everything set up. So now in your journal, there's the goblin, you can drag it in, there's a new goblin. Subtract this thing's hit points, -3, and the other one didn't change with it. So that's kind of how you create characters. As far as the macros, that is a different episode. Maybe I'll do another one for that. But that shows up here. You would add it, you would edit it, you would type in your code, type in a name, check mark, show as token action. So when you click on it, it'll show up in here. I have a bunch of things already set up because I had a different Goblin journal entry that it's actually tied to. But once you get macros and stuff, you can do things like, oh, use your scimitar. Oh, maybe it's not tied to the right thing. Yeah, macros can do shit like this. Let me find one that works. Let's bring in an Ankylosaurus.
What?
Boom. So I have
Hello,
this macro,
Rhinoceros.
an Ankylosaurus.
Yes, dude.
If I shift and double click on a token, it'll bring me to its journal page. So this is the Ankylosaurus I already have in here. This macro makes a tail attack. So this thing that I just put in the chat, that's the same thing as if you went to here and clicked on the word tail, and then rolled for damage. So that's what that would look like if you did that. But what we have here is one of the macros. This is what the macro for this looks like. It's fairly simple. You can find this online if you look up like Roll20 tutorials. Repeating NPC action, that'll do the tail part, and then repeating NPC action, NPC damage, does the damage part immediately after. This $sign with the number, that's the number that it is. So if it had a bite attack also, then that would be $1. It starts at 0, like most coding things. If you wanted this to be an attack, by the way, you would check attack, and then you could populate that. But yeah, as you can see, it's very complicated, but also intuitive. What I've done is I created a template. I'll show you here. So if you, I just gave it like a default image there, so I wouldn't confuse it for something else. So this character sheet just has some stuff that I thought was common, like humanoid, parentheses, and some common stats over here. Then it has all of these base macros for stuff. And I can definitely put this like on my Tumblr or something for people that are interested. But it has, see, there's that NPC action. Multi-attack is also here, just because a lot of creatures have multi-attack. This one, stat block, will just populate the chat and tell you what sort of stats this creature has. Traits, recharge, if it has a recharge, this rolls it. Reaction, the reaction has a different code, so that's why that one's different. And legendary actions also has its own code. So again, I'll probably put that in the chat or not the chat, but on my blog somewhere, so that you guys can find it. Probably tomorrow because it's like 11:30. I'm trying to think what else I can like say about Roll20 that won't put people to sleep. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing that I can say that won't put people to sleep.
Have one of
I
those
think you're doing
voices.
great.
I just have one of those nice, beautiful voices.
It looks like a
Marshall
great.
says index list.
Hmm?
T. Marshall says index list.
What do you mean by index list?
I don't know what it says. It says index list, but I'm not too sure if that is like what he wants to see or if that's just there.
I mean, yeah, I guess he'd have to elaborate. Like, I would probably put a list of what things are. I wouldn't just write out a bunch of code and not explain what it is to people. Roll
One nerd
initiative.
speaks and the other doesn't understand him. Does the nerd even speak?
Shut up. I guess the last, like T. Marshall just said, roll for initiative. Oh, the index is index 0. Yes, yeah, you're right. That's what I was just saying about it starts at 0 in the list of things. But that's neither here nor there. If you want to create let's set up Kyla so that she's
Kylo Ren.
Kyla Ren, Kyla Ben. You're
Oh,
welcome.
Oh my god, is that
that's
the
my name
podcast
too.
name?
Kylo Ben.
um, actually, I'll just do like.
Also, this is the weirdest episode of our podcast so far. I gotta say, I don't know if I'm gonna be into it.
That's all the time we have.
That's all we have the time. Thanks, Chris.
Like,
That was
what?
a real weird. You really bogarted the spotlight there, buddy. But
So I have 4 macros set up that I'm unable to show you because if I open them in the macros bar, it will break them. Um,
sounds like they don't really work there, Chris.
no, it's because like the HTML codes for like brackets and stuff. It's like an ampersand
No
and
idea.
like a number and then like a semicolon. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about? So that stuff is in there in order to like prevent it from from prematurely ending a line of code. So those are in there to trick it into searching for the next bracket or close bracket instead of
I have the
just.
same issue. I'm actually an Olympic runner, but if I ever try to do it, my legs will break off.
All right. Um, well, barring that, uh, so those HTML codes, if I open the macro, it'll basically process them and turn them into brackets because the
Oh,
yeah. So I can type it in there and then hit save, and as long as I never open it again, the macro will work. um,
right. So once you open it back up, it's like,
it's like
oh,
fuck.
here's the code, and I can never return it to normal.
Yep. So that's why I have it saved in a document, like on Google Drive. So if I ever do open it or need to change it for any reason, I can always just paste it in there. But I have these things in here, and this I guess is useful for you guys. So if I drag in your characters, um, the only
Really, I
one,
think I have to call you Papa.
huh?
Me?
Yeah,
Are you
Hey,
gonna call me
Chris.
Papa?
you're my Papa.
I don't
Hey,
know.
Papa,
Chris.
I don't know what we're
Papa
talking
BB.
about.
BB Papa?
Trying to figure out a name that he was gonna call my character, like how he was going to interact after I discovered him.
Oh, what is
Hey,
it, Kyla? Apparently they're
uh,
riff-raffing.
um, so I was able to drag my second cantrip in, but I dragged my third one and I don't.
You
Oh,
want to
it said it
delete it?
twice.
So
Yeah,
you go
but
to the
where the hell was that?
the little padlock icon. If you click on that, it'll show red things and like reordering grippies. So you can just hit the red thing and it'll delete it.
Um, oh, dang. Okay, okay, so then on that main page where it says attacks and spell casting, there's like a blank box now. I don't know why I have that now.
That might be because you might have dragged in a spell and then got rid of it, or you might have hit this plus sign, which adds
Oh.
a new thing. Then if you hit the gear, it just kind of closes it, and it still says it's blank because you didn't add anything in there. There's a padlock next to that. If you hit that, you can hit the red buttons and it'll delete
Oh.
those. Pretty much everything is if you hit the padlock, you can delete it or reorder it.
I think so. How come the third spell did not go into that list?
Because the third cantrip, Prestidigitation,
Yeah.
that is not an attack.
No, I already.
Oh. Okay.
That's just like well, what it is it can
It's
create a
just like
minor
a
magical
thing.
trick.
Yeah.
But Poison Spray is like a damaging ability, and so is Eldritch Blast. Poison Spray, as you can see, is it says DC 14. That's your
Yeah.
spell save, so the person needs to make a saving throw against that,
Okay.
instead of you making an attack roll and adding it. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good question.
All
Um,
right.
I was going to we technically still have like 20 minutes left until midnight. So I was going to plop in. Let's get an Allosaurus. Uh,
I feel attacked.
yeah, by an Allosaurus. So the way that you would roll
Oh, you're a
for
monster.
initiative,
Bio.
you'd need to have the initiative up, which it is. If you need that, it's here.
Okay.
Close it, open it. You want to make sure that between each fight you remove all turns, because otherwise it's going to just add additional initiatives. Then you can also hit descending to reorder them. I have a special macro thing, or a special API script, but I'm not going to show you that because I want to show you what you would probably be able to do. Um, so if I wanted Kyla to roll for initiative, she would shift click on her token, shift double click on her token, and it would bring up her journal. She'd go to character sheet, and sorry, I'm kind of moving your character sheet for you.
That's okay.
Go to the core thing and hit the initiative button at the top, right where you would hit on the text, not the number. So then it would roll that, populate it into the
Oh.
chat. She got a natural 20 on initiative.
Oh shit.
And she's been put in the top. So I also have a macro at the top that I've made that makes it so you don't have to go to the character sheet. So I can roll for Shane's initiative, Allie's, or no, Ben's unknown initiative, and
Hey,
then
thanks, Chris.
Allie's initiative as well, and then the Ankylosaurus's. So now they're all out of order, but as I said, you can put them in descending order. This little button increments the turn, tells you whose turn it is. So we go to Kyla's. Um, I guess we can do like a round of combat with what skeletons of character sheets you have here. Um, an Allosaurus attacks you in the tavern. Uh, so
Oh.
Kyla, you
Let that Allosaurus in the tavern.
you got the highest initiative, so you can go first. I keep double clicking instead of shift double clicking to bring up the sheet. So, Kyla, say you wanted to make an attack against the Ankylosaurus. You can go to where your attacks are and just click Eldritch Blast.
Oh no, what just happened? Oh, I scrolled away. Hold on. Oh no. Oh god, I just drew on it.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you're selecting
Yeah,
the
you have to have the arrow
move
tool at the
tool.
top left. That's a very common
Oh.
thing. Like I'll forget that often as well.
Haha. Okay. Now what am I doing again? Sorry.
So you're going to your character sheet, and if you
Okay,
don't have it
character
up,
sheet.
you can always shift double click on your token, and it'll
Okay.
bring it up. Go to the center and click Eldritch Blast. It was already populated thanks to Roll20 knowing what Eldritch Blast is. So you got a 19. If you had advantage, you would roll both of those and take the higher. And I'm going to take a quick look-see at this Allosaurus's. It has 13 armor class, so that hits. So now roll for your Eldritch Blast damage, which you do by clicking on the word Eldritch Blast in the chat.
Okay.
It's a little counterintuitive to do that,
Boo.
but 4 force damage. That's minimum damage. So now I can go over and -4. It'll take a chunk out of his HP. A rather small chunk, but a chunk nonetheless. So your Eldritch Blast, Kyla, shoots 2 beams at level 5, so you can actually roll again.
Whoa. Okay.
Cheater.
Oh.
An 18. That will also hit, so you can roll for damage.
There we go.
That's
Yeah,
more
there we
like
go.
it. We get -11, and you've done a healthy chunk of damage to this dude. So let's. You can also move on your turn. We won't get into the nitty gritty of combat this session, but you can move up to your movement speed, where each square is 5 feet. So for most people, it's 6 squares. So now I'll progress the initiative. Goes to BB Blue's turn. BB Blue, what will you do? Gonna have
I
fun saying
attack.
that.
Pew pew.
I'm gonna get
Do
used
you
to saying that, I
have
guess.
BB blue pew pews.
do you have
Oh,
anything in your
okay.
character sheet that does that? Aha, you do have a hand crossbow. You only have +3 right now. Not great. That does not hit.
I'm still
Um,
level 1. Hush.
that's fine. Um, why don't you roll again? Because I know that you're planning a build that like does multiple crossbow shots. That's more like it. That's a 20. It hits. Roll for damage, and we get -6. Okay. Is that it for your turn? I know that.
Move away,
You
but
move
I am
away.
done.
Fantastic. It is the Allosaurus's turn. Now, I have its macros all set up, but I'll go to its character sheet just for the sake of showing you how it works. Um, go to the character sheet. I've shrunk it down a bit. This is why I like having the buttons, so I don't have to block the entire screen here. All right, it's going to move uh, 30 feet straight towards Kyla and pounce on her.
Oh no.
It's going
Oh no.
to make a claw attack.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's going to hit.
Oh
And
my.
since it hits, we're going to deal damage. So Kyla takes 8 slashing damage. I didn't set up her character sheet to have HP on this page. Boom. So now you have an HP bar. So we're going to -8. And she can also do that if she wants to.
Oh cool, I saw an update.
Yeah. Now the Allosaurus has an ability called Pounce. If I wanted to show you that and show you that I wasn't just bullshitting, I can click this and it'll put it in the chat. So it hit her with a claw attack, and on the same turn, the target must succeed at a DC 13 Strength saving throw. So Kyla, go to your character sheet
Okay.
and make a Strength saving throw. That's underneath your proficiency bonus on the left-hand side. It's not the yep, you got it. Strength save. The thing that people most often get confused. Oh wait, that was
That
Ben
was
making
me.
that. God damn it.
But I passed though, right?
I mean, you did, but it wasn't
Yeah.
attacking you.
Wait, what is it? Did you say it's strength?
It's a strength saving throw. It's not the
Hold on.
strength.
Hold on.
Yes, you did it as well.
Hold on.
Although you didn't succeed. uh,
You can take mine.
Awesome.
um,
That's how this
so
game works,
a
right? You can just have mine.
for people that are learning D&D as well, a common thing to confuse, and it probably could have been done better, but saving throws are different from ability checks. If she did this, it would do an ability check, which is just strength rather than a strength save. If uh, if she wanted to do that, she would go over here to saving throws and make a strength save. And it matters because, one, they're different things. So if something affects your ability checks but doesn't affect your saving throws, it could affect that. But also, she's proficient in wisdom and charisma saving throws. So if she had just rolled a wisdom save, it would only be +2 if she just did the check. But if she did the save, it would be +5. So it's, I mean, she didn't roll better, but it has a much better modifier. So you don't want to mix those up. Anywho, Kyla failed. So it gets to
Sorry.
make an extra bite attack as a bonus action. But it missed, so I don't get to roll for damage for that. The Allosaurus ends its turn. So then we move on to, I believe that is Ben's character, Unknown. Well,
Sup?
what do you want to do? Do you have anything in your character sheet yet?
I think I haven't put it in yet, but I think I have Thorn Whip.
Okay,
That's like a druid spell, right?
yeah, that totes is.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if it's in
But
here because I don't actually know if it's.
it
Okay,
didn't come up.
it is not an SRD spell, so you'd have to put it in manually.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up though real quick.
So if we wanted to
Because
do
I
that,
think I have
I'll
it.
just put Thorn Whip in here.
You can try to use the dice on the left too. The little.
Yeah, I've used
Thing.
that a few times, and told people near the beginning. Believe that's a transmutation spell.
Yeah.
It's not a ritual. Casting time, 1 action. Range. What is the range on that? I assume you're
30
looking at it.
feet.
30
30
feet.
feet, yeah.
Target. Is it a creature or just a target?
A creature in range.
Okay. So
Make a melee spell attack against a target.
we'll put 1 creature. What are the components? V, S, and M would be the spell components. It would be near the
Yeah.
top.
The stem of a plant with thorns.
Does it have V and S checked off, or?
It says as VS.
Okay, so it's got all
Yeah.
of them. And we can just put what the component is. A stem of a plant, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
With thorns.
with thorns. Makes sense. Um, those
Oh, now I
Have
get
a
it.
those are your spell components. Verbal, somatic, and material. Material is
wait.
that stem. The somatic is moving your hands around and stuff. Verbal is you must speak an incantation or something. Um,
Right. Yeah.
Concentration is if it's a
Wingardium
concentration spell,
Leviosa.
but this is not a concentration. Its duration is instantaneous because it happens instantaneously, and this is all found in the spell description. I'm just kind of showing you where all this stuff goes. Spellcasting ability, you do want to put this in even if it doesn't affect the spell. His use is wisdom. In
Oh, okay.
innate, it is not a innate spell. That's mostly for monsters. Output, we'll put it as an attack. It's a ranged attack because it's up to 30 feet. The damage is, what is the damage?
The
1d6.
damage, if the attack hits, the creature takes 1d6 piercing damage.
Okay, 1d6
And then can be
piercing.
pulled 10 feet.
At a higher level, at 5th level, it's 2d6.
Oh no,
So
that
I'm 5th
we'll get
level.
to that. This is a cantrip. So
Oh, okay.
you don't add your ability mod because you're not a special warlock. Cantrip progression, you just put cantrip dice, and it'll increase it at 5th level, 11th level, and 17th level. It'll just add another dice. It's not a
Okay.
saving throw, no half damage. We don't need to do higher level casting because we already have its cantrip dice. Include spell description. Yeah, we can do that. Let me just look up Thorn Whip. 5e. Bababoosh. I can just copy all this and pasty poo, and it's good. So now I'm all done with this spell. I hit done, collapse it with the eye. Now, uh,
Where's the eye? Oh, hold on.
I keep saying
Sorry.
I mean the lowercase I. Do you want me to go back
Yeah,
here?
no, I know what you mean. I just can't see it.
So, do you see where I'm doing stuff? The Thorn Whip?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, there it is. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, it's right to the right of the text, and beneath that is the gear that I used to go into edit
To
mode.
edit the actual thing. Okay.
So now that I've designated this as an attack, it has put it in your attacks. So there's a Thorn Whip right where your attack
Oh,
is.
there it is. Neato.
Yeah, you can also
So do
manually
I
put it
click it?
in. Yeah, now that you have this thing, you can click on the Thorn Whip button, and it should just do it in the chat.
Oh man, Chris, you don't have no idea how so excited I am.
We can hear it.
Well, you got
Oh
a
my
10.
god.
Very average. But that
Hey, fuck you.
it
Sorry.
it sort of has its own what's it called? Like it's sort of uh identifiers based on color for what you rolled. A gray number, like a grayed out number, like your 16, is a 10.
Is
This
a meh.
is a meh. The green number is a natural 20, and the red numbers, there's one, is a natural 1. So it kind of tells you when you
Oh.
rolled really good and poorly and meh. So your 16 beats its armor class. You hit. So click the Thorn Whip text in the chat. Boom. You did 7 damage. Minus 7. And it was dragged towards you. So now the Allosaurus
Yeah.
is near you, 10 feet closer to you. Um, Now that's your cantrip. You can now move, but it'll probably provoke an attack now that it's been dragged towards you. Um, so assuming you don't want to do that, let's move to Shane. It is Shane's turn. I don't
I'd
know.
like to provoke an attack of opportunity.
Oh, you would like to?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Shane doesn't have anything on his character sheet yet, but once he does, then he can do this sort of stuff. We'll say he's a Forge Cleric. Let's say he casts Spirit Weapon. Spiritual Weapon. He
Sure.
gets a sticky that he just whacks the thing with. Just, just whacks it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Boom.
Ooh, baby.
Uh, yeah, this was the spiritual weapon I had for one of my other clerics in my other game.
Smack.
It's got the Eye of Encabulos upon it. So spirit weapon would do a D20. So if we didn't have this stuff in here, we can always use the die roller that Ali was talking about a few seconds ago. And go to a D20. Bunk. It rolls a 7. Um, we can assume maybe he has a +3 wisdom or something if he's got good wisdom being a cleric. So that would be a 10 total. And if we wanted to type that in, we could also go to the stuff here in the advanced die roller and manually add a +3 modifier. Then hit roll. And then it shows you the calculation. That's a much better roll. So we'll assume he had advantage because, I don't know, it was distracted by Ben's
My
character
throwing
pulling it. So that would hit. Spirit Weapon deals a d8 of damage plus his wisdom. So that's 6 damage to this Mo. So a round has gone by, and the Allosaurus is already at less than half HP. It's bloodied. It's obviously been injured, and it is looking to get out of here. So it is going to make its escape out of the tavern. To the cheers of many adoring fans, the Allosaurus has been kicked to the curb.
Whoa! Didn't it provoke an attack of opportunity?
Oh yeah, it did. Why don't you make an attack, bro?
Damn. Yeah. What the hell?
Except you don't have the Warcaster feat, so you can't make an attack using your cantrip.
Well, shit.
Except for the fact that your character sucks.
Except that you
I don't
suck balls, so you can't
really
do that.
like your attitude. Quick! Somebody punch him. My
Punch me,
character
yeah.
sheet doesn't have any attacks.
No.
I'm
It's
out of
because
time
you're
for
still
rest break.
frozen in the forest. I haven't found you yet.
My abilities haven't fully come online. All I had was Thorn Whip.
That's because you're taking the vines off of your,
Yeah,
frozen body.
that was readily available.
Also, Shane still has like a card.
A card.
Oh, from
Yeah, I told you those things were impossible to get rid of.
for the rest of the campaign now.
I think
What?
I
What's
think
wrong?
only Shane can actually get rid of that card. On,
You have to put it out onto the field and then you can delete it. So drag it off of your hand onto the mat and then you can click on it and delete it, or anyone can click on it and delete it.
Oh, got it.
I'm trying to steal it, I guess.
I tried to
I-
steal it too.
I tried stealing it too. I stole from Ben. I stole 5 cards from Ben.
Yeah, I let you have 'em.
Oh, that's not stealing.
I know it asks you
That's weird.
if you want to steal. If you're like, let it go.
But that's not stealing.
Yeah, I told you these cards are stupid.
Well, you can shuffle them and you can play poker, so it'd be real cool, but it ain't happening.
Would
And
be
also
really
because
cool.
Western Texas Hold'em.
Anywho,
Chris, I
since
put
we're done with combat, I can go to the gear here and remove all the turns.
Chris, I put my token in the chat.
In the Discord.
Mm-mm.
In the Discord chat.
Oh, and the Maymays. Oh, there's been a lot of Maymays, huh? Oh my god.
Yeah, Ben and I already have a backstory ready to go.
Yeah, it's deep. The deep lore is real.
Ben, this is just Captain Holt.
What? Yeah. Use him.
No.
Oh no,
Don't
I
look
see
at
it.
dumb butt.
Okay, cool.
This is just Holt. I mean, that's also a great character, but
I assume you can zoom in on that, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
yeah. I
Thanks.
can save that. So I'll make that token for you. I mean, I got 5 minutes. I can make a token in 5 minutes, I think.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah,
The hold person spell,
yeah.
um when they're paralyzed for the duration, they can still be attacked though while they're paralyzed, right?
Yeah, it's a brutal spell. You just hold someone in place and they can just get repeatedly wailed on.
It's like
Okay.
Darth Vader force choking
All
someone.
right.
Yeah, that's the flavor of it, is that you're just Darth Vadering somebody.
Darth Vader
Okay.
hold choke from a distance because COVID.
That's an example of a concentration spell. So you can cast that and keep concentrating on it for several rounds. If people hit you while you're concentrating, there's a chance that it'll break your concentration. But you can still move
Okay.
around while you're concentrating. You can even cast other spells while you're concentrating. You just can't cast another concentration spell. So you can
What if
Okay.
just
somebody calls her like a bunch of mean names? Will
no.
that break her
Uh,
concentration?
you can actually try and break somebody's concentration, probably with like an
Sticks and stones,
intimidation check though. Um, but yeah, you could be concentrating on your Darth Vader force choke and walk around and shoot Eldritch blasts at people while you're like choking this person out.
Okay.
Cool.
You're OP as hell.
In that case, yes. But then she's also used half her spell slots.
Okay,
So
fair.
yeah, she's a quickie kind of
That's what
system.
she said.
Let me go.
I don't like spell slots.
I do.
No one does.
I mean, if you don't like
What
them, you
does
can
it
always do sorcerer. They don't care.
I
It's
just
true.
would like just give me more things to fight and give me more spell slots.
You just have to rest. That's all. So you fight things and you take a nap, and then you fight things and you take a nap, and then you can do more, and you're more powerful
uh
that way.
I'm supposed to be powerful, not sleepy all the time. He said to himself in real life.
Do
what is
Right?
mods.
the benefit of using fear
So
if it just makes them if they just have to take a dash away to the safest place away?
so it's a bit of a nuance to that one. It gives them a condition called frightened, which means that they have disadvantage on all of their attacks. Um, I believe, I don't think it gives you advantage on attacks against them, but in the case of the fear spell, it forces them to run away as long as they're frightened. Um, yeah, they'll run away to like some place where they can't see you anymore, but they won't be able to approach you because that's part of the frightened condition, which isn't really
Okay.
mentioned in the spell. But as part of the condition, they can't walk closer towards you and they're forced to run away. So it's like if you want to get rid of a bunch of people, you cast fear, and it's a cone of just absolute terror. Everybody that fails their save runs away, and your party can help clean up the rest of them. Because those other
Okay.
ones aren't going to be bothering you. They've run out of the room and left. They might come back once the spell's over, but or if they later make their saving throw. Um, but that's on them. Uh,
Hmm.
save this bad boy. Um,
Told you not to call me that on stream.
Yeah, you're giving away your secrets, Christopher. I'm watching you.
Mm.
Gee.
eh. s-
Gotta
Shut
hide the handcuffs.
up. So here's my Photoshop. Um, I want to do the special token. Uh, let's drag in this bad boy. Ooh,
Ooh,
it's
I'm like
looking.
an elite.
Why are you placing it?
Why am I placing it? What do you mean? Why am I placing it?
That's what that thing means. That's what the X means around an image.
What
Yeah,
of
what
it?
else would you be doing?
Would I not be
I mean,
placing it?
you can
Pasting it?
copy paste into a new file if it's already sized. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I place before paste. Don't listen
Really?
to her.
What? I just
Well,
make
I
new
usually
files.
work in Illustrator, so
It's true.
I'm an Illustrator
I like Photoshop.
master. I don't fuck with Photoshop.
Embedding files in Photoshop is a pain in the ass, so I just ignore it.
Okay, that
Yeah, I can
looks
like only
pretty
embed
good.
in Illustrator.
Mask. It's kind of low res, but it won't really matter because we'll be zoomed out. So now, save it as... Oh,
You're
it's
kind of
freaking
low
out.
res.
Save it as a PNG to... I'll show you my naming conventions, I guess. So for monsters, I just put the name, but otherwise I put I think for these dudes I put PC and then underscore and then what their name is. What's your character's name, Ben?
We have to
Don't-
find out. She
Yeah, we
has
don't
to
know his
name
name.
me.
I'll
I don't
put
want to name you.
You have to find out something to call
I'll
me
put Benji.
Yeah.
because I don't know my name.
We're gonna call you something, but it might not be your name because you don't remember it.
No,
Freaking
exactly. That's what I mean. Like you've just like.
dumb robot.
Hit this stupid
So what if
thing.
I call you and
Dumb robot.
I don't know?
He's gonna call you dumb robot.
Please.
So I've saved that
don't.
now. Also this token is those token things I was talking about very early in the stream. These are available on my Patreon if you're a patron. You can get
Woo!
some of these. There's a bone looking one. There's a iron looking one with a demon mofo that I've there. But
All right, now that's a really cool incentive. I gotta say.
I mean, look at this thing though.
Holy shit!
I know, aren't they fucking amazing?
This one's my favorite, and I use it for devils, but you guys haven't encountered any like archdevils yet, so my other players haven't seen it. But the
Can I have that border instead?
no, this is my
Fuck.
player icon because it matches the overlay. Um, there's also a fancy schmancy noble looking frame, and then I have 3 standard ones that I have for monsters. For monsters, I use this like wood or bronze one. For NPCs, I use this silver one. And for important creatures or NPCs, I use this gold one. Um, just to show that like this is like an important looking creature, because you might not be able to know that by looking at a token image. Like you can see, oh, that's an epic looking image, but
But
you
it's
might not.
just a
This adds a little gravitas to it. Like in World of Warcraft, you've seen enough Scorpids to like see, oh, that's just another Scorpid. But if it has
Yeah.
an elite thing on it, then you're like, oh shit, I gotta use my cooldowns for this dude. That sort of thing. You can find those
Yeah.
on my Patreon. Um, so if I want to
I
upload
wish more
this,
people knew
more people
about
Knew
your
knew.
what?
Patreon.
Uh,
Yeah.
Just like
I do too. I mean, I got
feel
one
like
new
more people.
patron while I was doing stuff.
Nice.
Oh really? That's cool.
Well, while I was posting stuff about the book, which I'll plug at the end of this. See, I've
Please,
used.
please plug your book. Show it off. Plug that book.
See, I've like
Plug
used
that
the
butt.
special frame for like this angel dude. Um, this was
Book.
another player character.
Hot.
I'm
Uh,
on.
yeah,
He has face skin now though.
I went through and personally like spent a long week creating tokens for every creature
What
in all 3 of the books.
the
Um,
fuck?
and
Yeah, Chris does a lot of shit.
I
God, you're
also
such a
I
fucking
also
nerd.
added every single monster for the monster manual at least to Roll20 and organize them by CR. There's some from Mordenkainen's and some from Bolo's Guide, but only when I needed them. I just wanted the entire monster manual, so excuse me. So if I go to another game, I
And
can just copy the
organized by
thing.
challenge rating in
Yeah,
Roll20, of course.
they're sort of segmented because like 11 through 20, there's actually not a ton in each like entry. But if you go to like 2 and 3, and I open 3, there's like a frick ton of them. So I kind of organized it this way. Yikes. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm finding PC. Benji. Let's add you as an image. Boink.
Please don't boink me.
Boink.
I thought that's what you wanted.
Boom, drag you in. You're a little small, but that's because of the scale that we sort of have going
Because
here.
it's cold out.
Can we rescale them?
You can, but this is like in the dungeon. These is going to be 1 square by 1 square, and it's going to look more natural. But
Easy.
right now, it's like on a gigantic image. So, like I said before, the tokens. We're going to link it to. It's actually called unknown. So we're going to go to unknown, show nameplate, see the first bar, see the name. the player will be able to see bar 2 and 3. And in case they ever get an aura on them, I'm also going to check these off. Um, Dynamic lighting, token has vision. Um, Warforged don't have dark vision, right?
I
Um,
don't think they do.
Okay,
I
so
definitely know that, but I'm gonna let you wait.
okay, well, I've saved that. Oh, I also need to give you an HP bar. 10. Cool. Wait, why is it there? It's weird. What does your thing look like? I think I updated it anyway. Okay, so now there's a token with 10 hit points and it's tied to the unknown character. If I want that to be his default token, which I do, so every time that he drags it in or I drag it in to a new map page, it'll always drag in the same character. With the token selected, I'm going to set that as the default token. I'm also going to drag this in as the default image so that people can see it. I'm also probably going to tag it as a PC just so I can find it when I'm searching for it. And ba-boom. Now he is in the fly in the
Yeah.
room. Where do these flies get in? So now if I drag it in, just make multiple bends.
Nope, don't like that.
And if I give him like 2 hit points, it updates all of them because they're all tied to his character sheet's HP, not their personal bar of HP. So if I go into the character sheet, his current hit points is changed to 2. They are forever
Oh,
linked.
that's cool because I
And if
might have
I
mirror
go
image
into another page and drag this in, it'll still show his correct hit points as well.
cheating.
Yeah, there's one. Characters in various states of completion. We have art, we have a token, we have a complete character sheet,
And a completely blank character
and a
sheet.
completely blank character sheet. So lots of various degrees of success. But I think that's all we have time for
Oops.
today. So
Yay.
we are going to cut it off there for the stream. I know it was very loose. I hope that people that were watching learned something. We went through a lot of stuff for both D&D and for Roll20. So a lot of it can be repetitive if you already know D&D. But if you didn't, you should have learned a lot. Um, as we go through this campaign, we'll obviously be going through a lot of the different separate rules and stuff as they come up. And that's really how you should be learning. It's just that Roll20 requires lots of personal one-on-one, like didactic figuring out where all the buttons are. But thank you all for coming to watch. Next week on Sunday is the Dork Vision stream, which is not this game. It is my other regular game. We had to postpone it this week, but it will be there next week. This campaign, the Eternal Undermountain is what I'm calling it tentatively. We will be playing that on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Until 10 p.m. So earlier in the night, so you don't have to stay up until midnight to watch the thing, and we don't have to stay up until midnight. And it's also at a kind of a golden hour when people are going to be playing. And also, just
Are we
want
doing
to,
it this Wednesday?
do you guys want to?
Yeah, I'm fine. I
Yeah.
can do
I'm
that.
excited to
Yeah.
play.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also am just going to brag about the new overlay that I've created. So that is what it's going to look like once we finally started playing. I didn't have it
Yeah.
up.
Oh
Yeah, look at
shit.
the. Oh, nice. That's so cute.
Nerdgasm all over Roll20.
Mm-hmm.
I changed. It didn't used to say Eternal Undermountain underneath Dork Vision, and the colors were a bit more bright. So I changed them to a bit more undertone, and then put a stony background behind the character tokens. But as you can see, those character tokens are why they look like that.
So, what is the caveat for like your
I usually buy
patrons
me a new
joining
keyboard.
in the game?
So, yeah, I guess we can go through that. If you want to join in the game, the rules are set up on my Patreon on a post that is available to the public. But it's going to be randomly drawn, um, and you have to be a at least a $5 patron, so above the first dollar tier or $1 tier, um, just to lower the pool of people that can join. Uh,
You're
and
important people.
basically, um,
They're all
and
important.
uh, there's a few stipulations. You're, oh my
Oh,
God,
what was that?
is someone sharpening a blade?
Oh, might be me, my bad.
Are you sharpening a weapon to kill us?
Yikes!
I was cleaning my dust off my laptop.
Oh, that would
Oh,
do it.
that would do it. Yeah, that
I
definitely
didn't
sounds
realize
like it.
that would be picked up by them.
We didn't either. um,
Good to know this for future
Good
for
to
future
know.
episodes.
work.
Yeah, don't
So,
blow under the mic, future reference.
patrons will be assigned a pre-generated character. There is negotiation for what you're going to be playing, race and class. You'll be playing for 3 to 5 sessions, but the goal point for now is whenever they reach a new layer of the Undermountain. If that goes beyond 5 sessions, then we'll cut it at 5. If they find a new layer before you've had 3 sessions, then we'll obviously keep going. That's why I've sort of set it at 3 to 5, roughly a month, and then we will choose a new character, uh, or a new patron to join. You can obviously opt out, and then I'll roll for a new person. There's a whole bunch of stipulations and stuff. I've also have it set so if you've been chosen in the last 3 rolls, you can't get chosen again, so it'll promote variety. But yeah, there's a good chance that eventually you will be able to play with me. I don't have too many patrons, so there's a good chance you'll probably be able to play with me on the stream. So if you're interested, be more than a $5 patron on the time that I'm gonna be rolling for those, and you'll be able to play. In the meantime, you can check out my new book, Noble Crumpet's Guide to Gastromancy.
Link.
I've been working on it for pretty much all of last year, fully illustrating it myself, and making all of the spells and content myself. You can find that on DriveThruRPG. It's not on the DM's Guild because it has a unique setting, so I'm not allowed to do that. And I will. There's links on my Tumblr, as well as Twitter. I can drop a link in the
In
old
the chat.
chatty poo.
If you make a little panel underneath, actually, that would be better. So maybe just do that after stream.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. Right now, I'll just drop a little linky poo. There you go. But yeah, check that out. I'm hoping to get more stuff up eventually. I have my book of
Nerd.
oozes that I can probably put up soon.
Yes.
Because that was already done. I would probably just want to update it, make it print worthy, and then put that up there. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you all for watching. If you want to join, be a patron. We'll see you on Wednesdays from 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time PM. See you then, I guess. It's been a long send-off, but goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.